is going on? We're actually finishing up some stuff, getting a little bit of late run here. Been a little bit busy trying to get back into stuff. I want to apologize first off. Well, I don't want to apologize because I tell you guys I'm never sending you guys stuff anyways. I haven't gotten to the post office yet. Work has been busy. I know if you're in our general chat.
Oh, man, I've been waiting.
Hey, where's my stuff?
Yeah.
Where's my free stuff?
Yeah. So if well, we're gonna cover that book too, because I mean, maybe by the time I get to you, it's gonna be worth $1. We got free comic book taking up a lot of stuff. Actually, may the force be with everybody. May the fourth be with everybody. Appreciate it.
May the fourth, yep.
Wishes. Crazy week for Star Wars because they gave us so much. We got a bunch of Andor. We got all of the. We either watched it on Fortnite or on the internet. Watched somebody shoot.
Yeah, I couldn't watch. I watched it on Fortnite.
It's wild, bro, because like.
And you couldn't hear the talking, so I was like, you know what? I'm shutting it off.
I had one that they could, but whatever. We got to see all the Underworld stuff. We watched it. We're going to do spoiler free best we can on that. We're going to cover free comic book days. I'm actually adding some stuff in right now to try to tailor because I didn't like how I was doing it. We're going to cover it, not spoil tech. Well, the nub stuff was stupid, but we're going to cover the other one. Really, it was stupid, and because of that, we're going to cover a top 5. I decided I'm just going to give you my top 5 free comic book day that I love, and we're going to take a quick look at that. Also, talk a little bit about horror comics coming back to Star Wars.
Boogeyman
stuff. Yeah. We have all that and obviously more. But let's say hi to the chat first as I try to finish up what I need to do here. Saying May the 4th be with you for the algorithm. Thank you, Tommy. Thank you. May the 4th Sunday. Wait, May the 4th. Wait, let me do it again. May the 4th Sunday with the crew. Can't wait to talk about Tales and what is new with Star Wars. Bring on the last rants. Yeah, us either. Run a little bit late because we had some questions in the background even with the Tales stuff. So we'll see how that ends up going. KTK Comics, high thumbs up. We might leave it for a little bit later just in case. May the 4th be with you. Thank you, Patrick. Hope you go in depth on F. You know what? As a matter of fact, one of the reasons why we're running late is because I haven't loaded in the deck for that. I was just adding a couple things to clarify the FCBD book, Star Wars issue, not the one with nubs. Nobody cares about nubs. Unfortunately, didn't get my copy. Oh, okay, cool. Well, good. I'm glad. Unfortunately, I'm not glad that you didn't get a copy. I'll see if I can get you to pick you up one, Patrick. However, we'll cover what it was in the inside. That one, the nubs one was just nubs making nub noises. That was it. It was there covered. Chris, may the 4th be with you guys. Look forward to great guys. Awesome. Look forward to a great show. Thank you. Dan the man. Happy 4th, Foos. Dan, good to see you. Hey, look, we've got Motor City coming up in I think 2 weeks. So Dan the man will be there. So will the rest of us. You know where to find me. Always on Common Floor.
My favorite day's tomorrow.
What?
My favorite day's tomorrow.
The 5th?
Revenge of the 5th.
Revenge of the 5th.
That's my favorite day.
May the 4th. Okay. Dom's wishing everybody that. Meyer, what's good, Meyer? We're the boys. We're here. We're sleeping. We are not sleeping.
We're just trying to find the proper memorial for Wave Seeker. He's not here.
Yeah. Better late than never. I guess Marco's back in town. I am back in town, Dan. Dan, I'm sorry. I haven't gotten anywhere close to responding to anybody asking me how things were or back in town. If you've been texting me,
I'm stuck in my head now.
What's that? The boys are back in town. Yeah. So sorry about that, everybody. Sorry I haven't gotten back to you. I will try over the next week. Just been really busy. Hi, everyone. Mr. Appleman. Hi, everyone. May the 4th be with you. May the 4th be with you, too. Dwayne, Scott, Dom will be unveiling his new floor-length Nubs blue pelt coat tonight. That would be awesome.
Yeah, hold on.
Is Nubs even big enough to make a floor-length pelt coat?
He is not.
Well, I actually dyed the fur. Here's Nubs.
What is it?
I figured
you bleached it.
I dyed his fur, so it's right here. So
is that your bathroom rug or something?
It's just I have for the couch. It's a row for the couch. But yeah, this was Nubs. I dyed his fur because I didn't like the blue.
That's a throw over up the inside.
Yeah, I have a throw. Yeah, right over here on the couch. I know it doesn't look it, but it is right there.
Okay, whatever. May you prosper this May 4th and have a thank you, T-Mall. How do you say that? T-Mall? TMO? Either way. I wonder how many stream solo.
Solo. Was it Han Solo?
Solo.
Movie.
Mhm.
You know, I'm actually gonna go look at the Solo Star Wars story again because, it's a good movie, man. It's just
Yeah. It's definitely something good.
Got a bad rap.
it came out the wrong
time. I am just trying to give me one more second. Just let me load this one last book in, and then we'll kind of rock and roll on it.
Mark was still on Japanese time a little bit.
I am, dude. I'll tell you that I have not been able to get more than 5 hours of sleep, also too, which is kind of wild. Like,
yeah,
it's
doing
just,
that.
They say it takes 3 weeks to reset your sleep rhythm or whatever.
Let me show the fans out there.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead, show that off real quickly as I get this thing loaded in, and then we'll
Disney shop. We got the May the 4th stuff out there. Nice new jersey, Boba Fett jersey. Disney shop.
You bought that already, or you went to one?
No, I bought it.
It's like Boba Fett plays for the Athletics.
I bought it like on Sunday. Was it Sunday? Monday. I bought it Monday. It came a day later.
So they mail faster than me. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do, dude?
Yeah. So
that's some other shit I gotta get off. All right. Well, let's go get into comics real quickly. We might as well. Starting it off, free comic book day. 2 free comic book days today, or this weekend. Guys, how was your? Did you go to the stop, or you just got yours online? I went to the shop.
I forgot that it was free comic book day this week. I forgot.
Oh my gosh. BK, I know you tried, but here's the deal, son, and I'm going to explain this to you because you never get out of your mom's closet. So let me be perfectly clear. When you're me, not you, life is real, and I'm a legend in Japan at this point. They actually have already sent me some postcards to come back, trying to get me to spend more time over there because I was me and my family were such welcomed over there and ingratiated into their social system. And they just love us. I mean,
they got a samurai statue of Marco over there already.
They're building one currently, man. It was that good. Like
what it means is they didn't want to keep him, so they exiled. They're like, no way, we're not keeping this guy.
No, dude, they were really cool, man. We had a good time. And like we said last, if you guys missed it, even on TAC, or was it on Star Wars with the twins, where we had they're not used to twins over there, but like they're also not used to twins enjoying. Apparently, they're not used to. I think it's because English. They can't tell the difference between English people and Americans, and they are not used to Caucasians enjoying their food so much or being so at home with it. So when my son's eating 100 yen of Wagyu beef and bluefin tuna, and they're eating the rice rolls and all the yaguri and all that type of stuff, and they're ordering different types of salmon roe and sea urchin. They're not used to seeing that, so they're amazed by it. They're absolutely amazed by it, which good for them. I mean, so they love us, yeah. Free Comics Book Day is for the kids. My shops doesn't even do sales. I stopped going. Trash. Okay. I will tell you this. My experience. We
have a shop that does it online here in the States. So
yeah, it's really getting bad out there. We had people causing backups in line because they kept protesting buying the books. Like, hey, because they only limited 3, and the store shouldn't have bent to it. They should have kept it at 3 because like or if you're under 12, you can pick up 2 more, because all these guys were doing were taking like whatever they thought was like good. They ended up taking like 50 books, and they're going through there. And my wife even made a comment one time.
There's always been a limit in the shops I've gone to.
Yeah,
even in years past, like it's not like it's a new thing.
Yeah, they charged them an extra $1 or something, and like it was dude. My wife actually made a comment. She's like, "Why are these guys like? Is that guy touching every single book like in the stack? What's he doing?" I go, "Oh, he thinks he's gonna get rich off Free Comic Book Day books, which you're never gonna get."
We had a shop. What was this? Like 2022 or whatever, the first year after the COVID stuff was. Like, even after that, they limited it. Like, literally, it was like. But I think the deal was that you could get 4, and then if you bought something that was at least $5, you could get a 5th one or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm like,
yeah. I mean,
it's
like,
always been limited around
but it
here.
Should be limited. These guys, I think the store owner thought like they're like, hey, you could get 2 more for $1, meaning you could get a total of 5, but they didn't say limit total of 5. So these guys ended up just paying $20 more and then getting 2 books for every $1. So it's a. Dude, Star Wars is huge in Japan. They absolutely huge. I will tell you this: it's the only place that loves nubs. The adults love nubs in Japan. Absolutely love it. Were there any How to Train Your Dragons book? No, I didn't get that. But they were even like after our kids took the Minecraft book because they heard my son say like Beyblades is in the back too, so he was really stoked. So all of a sudden they grabbed like 4 of those copy. Like they were just it was goons. Just
I was surprised they didn't say Beyblades in the back. Put it down.
Yeah. We love you. Oh yeah, look who your boy's here.
Yeah,
dude. Hey, Aquatic
Always
Age.
pick up the anime and manga comics, by the way.
Aquatic.
His fishing's been getting really good, man.
I gotta show him some of the lures I picked up. I picked up some wild lures in Japan. I went to the used lure shop and the new lure shop, Aquatic. I'll probably try to get some on the break. I'll show them to you. All right. Yeah, let's get into this. So we're not gonna cover the Young Jedi. But I want to cover what this was because this is actually really cool. I liked how they did this. They broke it down to 3 and did it just as pretty much a preview book. So we're gonna get 3 previews in here. We're gonna get past the Past Prologue, Legacy of Vinay. Is that how you say that? And I can't read any of this. The Moon of Death.
Legacy of Vinay, and the Moon of Death.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. Oh shit, I'm gonna have to get up here close because I can't fucking see any of this shit. Those people that don't know, I typically just memorize everything and go by that. Okay, so here we go. Past. These are actually all the characters that come in past. It's actually a Luke focused thing, but he runs into this A pilot, Ryan, I guess. Zanat.
I said Rin Zanat.
Rin Zanat. Okay. Rin Zanat. Sounds good. Either way, you see him start shooting the Syndicate. I figured Dom would be all in here because they bring in the Syndicate right off the bat. A couple other, as this says, Goon. Great stuff. Goon. And Smugglers. It seems like a good story. It actually kind of is in that post Jedi Return of the Jedi era, giving us a little bit extra action, but giving us action in space, not like stuff we already know. So, I mean, look, the Rin character, isn't Zin the stuff that people put in their lips?
Rin.
The Rin character is okay. We've seen her before a bunch. She's not new. Is she going to be forward? I guess, but it's going to be like, I think that he's going to have some adventures with her. And probably going to end up, well, we know it, running into Aphra at one point too. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully her and Aphra don't.
Jade?
Maybe. That's actually what she is. Yeah, 100%. Hopefully she doesn't. Hopefully, real quickly, Dom, it does not become she falls in love and becomes Mara Jade for Aphra, as I was about to say. Hopefully,
I hope not either. But after watching, after watching Tales of the Otherworld, you think that they would ever make a friggin' Dr. Aphra story for that? Because that would fit perfectly if they did something like that.
Dave will steal whatever Dave can steal.
See what happens, man. That'd be kind of cool, though.
All right. The second one, the Legacy, that's actually still part of this Legacy of Vader book. By the way, both books, solid read so far, right? Like these first two.
In flashbacks.
Yeah. Now, this one JJ's going to hate. A lot of flashbacks. A lot of flashbacks. The whole
thing was a flashback.
The whole thing, yeah. But it's a flash. But they get it to the point where at the end they say, like, there's one more. They're doing the Snook, like, Ren thing. And they give us some of the Knights of Ren. They give us a bunch of other stuff in there. So we'll see how it goes. But it actually was written pretty clean. I don't know. Like I said, like right now, Star Wars. It's been a very long time since Star Wars has had good writing and good art. And I have to say, in the first 2 stories of this, we've already been reading Legacy of Vader, and it's been pretty good. Both look like to be home runs. And by the way, the fan result on these, from what I've heard people reading them, they're enjoying them too. So it's not just us, which is pretty good. The third one, a series that I'm really enjoying, is the Jedi Knights series. This is part of 3 that's coming out. This actually isn't for the cover. This is 5. But part 3 is coming out soon. They gave us a little preview to that. It's Kenobi and Tensu.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. But it wasn't bad. Well, Tensu sucks, but the story was actually pretty good that they put in there. So also a good read. All 3 were actually pretty good reads. I was impressed with all of them. I was looking for the shit. Like, you know how I like to do it. I like to call it out when I see it. I was looking for the book, the story out of 3 that looked like a dumpster fire, and I didn't see it. I don't know if anybody did, but in my opinion, all three were pretty solid. Now, we've already seen Jedi Knights in the Kylo Ren series, and we know those are on good paths. But even the Star Wars one, it does seem they're doing a little bit of a love interest that they're going to keep going on with an A-wing person, a la Mary Jade or Mara Jade. But we know that Afra's going to be coming in there. There's going to be a bunch of other stuff. Leia's going to have some stuff. They're going to follow Han around too. Are they going to be able to land it? We've seen it disastrously done before. We've seen it done pretty well before. We just got to hope for the best in that one.
Well, listen, I'm all for the Jedi Knights, man. Django, baby.
Oh, nice.
They get one fit.
Good job, Myra. Go ahead. What'd you say?
I said, no. I said, at least we get. I go, I'm all for the Jedi Knights. Got Django Fett, man. At least I get one of my Fets. You know?
Yeah. You'll get one. Dom was definitely not in Japan, BK. Anyways, next week coming up. Oh wait, this week we had Fear of the Jedi. Wow, this was fucking horrible. This is horrible. This is horrible. I don't know what to say about this book. It sucks because the previews were so good. The Free Comic Book Day was, and this is just the epitome of bad. There was bad humor in it. The Laura D's now a good bad guy. Yeah. Okay. Nobody cares about the Rise of Sky. This is another thing.
Bad guy for a while, technically, but yeah.
Yeah, but now she's openly saying she's a good bad guy. I don't know. Yeah. This was good. Hyperspace Stories this week. If you're not reading Hyperspace Stories, this is really cool. I actually think it's a great concept too. And I think when you're talking about things for Underworld, Dom, this Poe story where he's like going after freaking criminals, and then now he's fighting like just random TIE pilots killing people and like trying to this is the story we deserve. Like this is
we got something for Poe Dameron coming out later on when we go to Toys.
All right. So, hey, look, man, if they went this way with Poe, where you get the Poe single story with him and BB-8 just cruising through town.
I like Poe Dameron. He was one of my favorite characters in the sequel trilogy.
I gotta tell you, I thought he was just.
It would have been nice if they gave him something to do.
I know.
That's what they did, though. This book gave him something to do. Like,
I mean, in the movies, but yeah.
Yeah. That's why I was always like, he's the man. But then I read this book, I was like, it had that Poe feeling of him and being a smartass with BB-8 and whatever else and being cocky, which is fine. Not what I love, but like it actually gave more depth to his character. There was more depth in this one comic than was in all three movies. I mean, just that's so sad to say, but
Ethan Sachs did a good job with the writing, huh?
But dude, great Jack. This is really good. This is really good. Art matched up too, which was nice. I mean, he got that corny humor. I know a bunch of you like that corny humor that Poe has in the movies. They got that in there too. So, like, if you like that stuff, you're gonna love this. Shit, this is bad. And by the way, the other High Republic book, the one shot that came out either last week or this week, it was almost the exact same story and equally as bad, except for you just don't have to see Crash in a tuxedo suit. Yeah, Alyssa Wong. Like, I just hope that they do not put her back on any Star Wars comics because, yeah, I guess the problem is if you have to announce who the characters are because you're drawing them so different and nobody will realize who they are, you're not doing a good job. Just not. So, end of this week. Too bad. The preview is good. All right, next week we're actually getting Star Wars 1. So that how we talked about that one, the preview. We're going to get that book next week.
1/100.
I do too. That's the Delado. Yeah. Only one. Hey, happy 4th to you too, Comic One.
Happy 4th, man.
Yeah, he does. He does, but the book makes him better.
Why does Luke look like a girl that 1/200?
No, that's your boy. You got to ask him about that.
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
He looks like the holiday special Luke. The holiday special way.
Yeah, after the face surgery. Yeah. Delado Suite. Only one sold already in pre-order for $145. We'll see. There's not even a lot of these listed up for the 200 or for the 100. I wonder how many people are actually ordering 200 of this. I bet it's going to be rare. I would hold off, though. That Delado's got
sure there will be a lot.
I don't know if there will be.
I'll wait to see about that 200. You know, if there's not a lot.
Oh, yeah. Do not buy it when it first comes out. No. But here's the problem. That thing's not really that cool, and it has a trade dress anyways. So if you're going to buy that, buy the trade dress.
I think it actually looks weirder without the...
I want the Delado.
It looks stranger without the trade dress. Like the top 2 inches or whatever is just kind of empty.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Corvette Summer, Luke. You're right. That is. Yep. Corvette Summer.
What do we got? And then of course we've got the Woo, which I like, which is one on the right. There's the 1 in 25, which is also a weird look. But that's the girl we were talking about there. Underneath her though, the RYN and Rin.
I like that. The middle one is good. I like the middle book.
Yeah, with Valiant in it. Really? Is that Solo? That's supposed to be Han Solo?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a look. And then we got the 50th cover or whatever.
Iron Man.
I did not read One Piece, but maybe JJ does. Also next week we got Hyperspace Stories. Hey, this has been once again they kind of did a good job with the Bad Batch the last time. First Ghost Agents. Let's see what it is. It's been doing pretty good for the first two.
Since I read One Piece.
FOC. We got. I know you're gonna love this cover because we got the one crazy lady there, and you love how you get crazy ladies.
Do you know that that girl who played her is the love interest in Daredevil and Born Again?
Okay.
She's also she's a good actress.
That's fair, but this book sucks. So there's that. It's number 5, and thank God the end of the Fear of the Jedi. Oh, by the way, Fear of the Jedi, spoiler alert, they introduced this week the Nameless now can fly. They're like vampire Nameless. I don't know what the hell's going on. It's stupid. Yeah, out in space. Yeah. All right, so there you go. Yeah, rooting it. Also number 5. Oh no, 4 with Knights. This wasn't 5. This is 4. 4 with Knights. So this will be after the preview. The FOCs for that, which means they'll be introducing Django. They're following a lot of Qui-Gon and Obi.
Who's the knight on the left?
That's actually that middle one. That middle one, definitely a good cover to get autographed.
The guy on the left's from the High Republic.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's not in the story.
You got the mutton chops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, and that's it for
Zala
FOC.
if he's not blue.
It wasn't for Zala though. Somebody else. Oh no, sorry, we got one more. FOC Jedi Knights number 4.
I like the middle
this
one.
is the rest of the cover. I just missed them. Yeah, so there's a 1 in 100. There's so many damn covers. There's also the version of that. There's this weird one that we don't like any of the art on it. And then there's the 1 in 25, which I actually like, which has got Sing on it. I thought that's a pretty badass cover. I don't know why Domino's sitting in the middle. But,
I know Domino. I was gonna say Domino. Yeah. No, but she was in a book already. She was in the Dr. Aphra book. I think. I know. The character.
Yeah, I was just joking. But there we go. So that should be all the covers. That is all the covers. All right, let's get into free comic. Should we get into top 5 free comic? Nah, we'll do that later. We'll get back to top 5 free comic books later. Let's talk real quickly. Do you want to do news or tales? Or Andor?
Let's do news.
We got to split up these two shows.
Let's do news.
All right, we'll do news. All right, doing news. Hold on, let me run the thing. Not ready for this at all.
All right, this week in news for Star Wars. First up, probably the easiest one all day. I got it. It's May the 4th for all those who have been under a rock for the entire day so far and haven't noticed. But pretty much all your merch deals, well, actually all the deals have already started. Most of them in tomorrow. So if there's any deals out there you want, I know Her Universe is running deals.
Oh, Her Universe is the best stuff, man.
Amazon has a deal for today.
Disney shop.
Pretty much any place you can think of that sells Star Wars merch is going to have some kind of deal. Although some of them are kind of crappy. I can't remember who was. Somebody just offered like free shipping. Funko has a deal. If you're a Funko Pop collector, I think it's buy two get
Funko
one.
has a really good deal with the Pops. There's a lot of good stuff.
There's a buy two get one. I think free.
Yeah.
So a lot of good deals out there. Didn't have time to list them all, but like I said, pretty much anywhere you can think of that is known for selling Star Wars stuff is going to have some kind of deal.
Dom, they've got it. She's got a Sith 05 jersey, chick's jersey for sale. Her Universe. Yeah.
You gotta get.
Hey, hold on. I'll give it to you. I'll let you look because you're gonna love it. It's on sale too.
Is it part of the sale?
Yeah, it's part of the sale. Yeah, it's 44 to 30 something. I think it's 20% off. That's usually what you. There you go, Dom.
Well, that's pretty cool though. I like that.
The
reason why I like 5, that's my I was born October 5th. So the 5th is 5 is my favorite number. So
what's your social security number?
It's also Revenge of the 5th.
It's Revenge of the 5th. That's why it says 5.
5,
yeah. Okay.
So
okay, cool. Well, okay.
A lot of good deals out there we had.
Yeah, I mean,
they hit it.
Basic 30%, 20 to 30% off first. But go ahead.
I don't know if Don put this in toys. He probably did, but I probably
No, I didn't get that. No.
Oh, you didn't?
I got a lot of stuff.
Well, I'm surprised Don didn't put it in toys because he's gonna like this one. It's a Balin Skull Shin Hati Lightsaber Legacy release for Hilts. They're going to be in parks, and they're available at the Disney store, I think, starting today. I know they were in the UK Disney store this morning. I'm pretty sure they're also in the US store. So.
You know, it's a shame. That would have been pretty cool to get autographed. You know, Ray Stevens, if he was alive, get an autograph with him, and
and then get it autographed by Rory McCann.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah.
Come on, Ray Stevenson, man.
But no, I think these were kind of cool. I kind of like them. They're two you haven't seen before. One thing I want to know, I read a little bit of it, but I didn't see the specs on them. I want to know if they give you a blade is like the Balin Skull blade, like super long.
Yeah.
Because he has the really long, like supposed to be like a heavy lightsaber type.
Is it orange too?
I think they are orange. Yeah, the blades are orange. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, that's cool. Man.
Next up, you can buy this thing. I didn't see a price and ask for it. So this is a cargo comparing companion droid. So you program it to your phone and it follows along behind you, literally like a droid.
That's pretty cool.
You can stuff it full of anything. Most people will probably use it to carry beer around.
You know, people are going to steal that. People are going to just pick that thing up and steal it.
Oh, hell yeah. Sure. Hell yeah.
You know those things get stolen.
But it's a company called, I'm probably going to mispronounce it. I think it's Piaggio Fast Forward. You can go to their website. Supposedly they had like in-person demos. I don't know where on earth they were demoing it, but yeah. So
or it's going to turn against you. It'll be freaking AI, freaking Terminator.
It would be like when it doesn't stop or something and rolls off a cliff or down a set of stairs or something and shatters.
Dude, you know people are just gonna come by and kick it. You know that's gonna happen.
Oh, yeah.
They're just gonna kick it. Like, and by the way, you're right. Somebody's gonna try to take this to like a tailgating scenario, and it's over. It's over.
Not gonna. You're gonna have it.
Give the droid a beer. Yeah. So
that's funny.
But if you really want a companion droid out there, this one will carry
How much
your stuff.
Is there a price?
I didn't see a price yet for it. So
okay.
Expensive, I'm assuming.
Probably.
Speaking of prices on stuff, today is also May the 4th for video game deals. There's a whole ton out there. There's a lot of special edition video games. Like Marco mentioned the Fortnite thing at the very start. That's had a Star Wars event going on for a couple days now. Monopoly Go, you can pick up the special version of Star Wars, I think, through the end of the week. Star Wars Galaxy has all kinds of special events going on for today, the mobile game. Plenty of stuff out there. Lots of good deals. I know on a lot of your shops, like for the Nintendo shop, PlayStation shop, blah, blah, blah. They're going to have sales on Star Wars games like Fallen Order.
Yeah, this is really the day to start buying everything if you need to.
Fallen Order is like 75% off today.
Yeah, this is dirt cheap stuff.
I included a big one here. This was launched, which is basically all the Asper remakes done up in one set. So you get 9 total games for basically $70. Full games, which includes Jedi Knight 2, Star Wars Bounty Hunters, Knights of the Republic 1, Knights of the Republic 2, Jedi Power Battles, Force Unleashed, and
that's the Force Unleashed.
Yes.
That's 9. That's 9 games, so that's less than $10 a game, dude. That's a pretty good deal.
That's not bad. That's pretty cool.
This is available on PlayStation Shop and Nintendo Shop.
Oh, not an X.
I didn't see it listed for X. For the Nintendo Shop, it started on the 1st, and then for PlayStation Shop, it started on today. Or no, I'm sorry, yesterday. So
cool.
And then also one more for PC gamers. Today only, and for a limited time, they didn't say when it actually ended. You can pick up Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga from the Epic Game Store for free.
Dude, that's awesome. I love that. I play that with my kid all the time, dude.
Yeah. So if you got kids, this is going to pick up. It doesn't take a real beefy computer to run it. So I'm not going to say every computer can run it, but a lot of computers can run the game. And it's a super fun game, especially for the kiddos. So
my wife is funny when she plays the Lego game. She has a good time playing the game.
Yeah. Dude, this is actually technically 2. This is what I think 3 games in 1, isn't it, or something?
It is. Well, no, it's because it's the original. It's the New Hope, the original one.
Yeah, it's each trilogy, so it's
each trilogy.
Yeah, so. And one bad piece of Star Wars video game news, unfortunately, was EA announced a new set of layoffs of about 300 people. A little under half that is going to hit Respawn Entertainment, the company that works on the Fallen Order series. They say it will keep going and that the layoffs shouldn't affect the development. It doesn't have a release date yet, so we wouldn't know if it did, probably.
It'll probably pushed back another year.
Yeah, so
if it gets done, let's just hope it doesn't get buried.
But unfortunately, there were some layoffs. But fortunately, we only hope they don't get worse. This is actually the second round of layoffs where they've hit a minor amount of hit Respawn. So I don't know. But.
Yeah, man. Friggin' they just talked about you know, when it comes to movies not made in the United States, 100% tariffs.
Yeah.
Movies outside the United States. Stupid.
Yeah, let's see what actually happens. I don't.
Yeah, they did have a pretty bad Titanfall game coming out. So EA's had some misses. EA is not quite as bad as Ubisoft. Ubisoft's had a lot of misses lately, but EA's had some misses that have kind of driven their not so great.
So it's mainly off Titanfall.
Situation.
Cool.
Well,
all right. Cool.
Yeah, Titanfall was a big failure for him. At least that game was. I sure to pick this up. I know Marco's going to read it. Don probably wants to read it too. You get Star Wars: The Last Order announced this week. It's a Finn and Jaina novel set for release on October 21st.
You know,
I never liked the Finn character. I didn't really like the Finn character. I've never liked the Finn character.
You know, it's unfortunate.
And what sucks is because didn't the guy character who played it play like in the block or something?
Yeah,
I like the block. You know what I mean?
It sucks that you would think a stormtrooper that left the First Order, that revolted to go with the, that's a cool story waiting to happen. And they dropped the ball on his character. The writing sucked on his character.
They should have probably picked the American actor instead of an English actor. That's what I'm blaming it on. I don't think you got the nuances.
Yeah, the novel.
Yeah,
I get it.
Oh, this could be an interesting novel. It could be. I
should put that in the headline. I don't know why I didn't. But.
Do you think they're gonna make her? Do you think they're gonna make her Lando's daughter or granddaughter in the novel?
That was one of the rumors, but Lando was all creepy on her when he was talking to her.
I don't know. But or they could just make her like somebody that knows like Lando's granddaughter's friend or something like that.
But the fact is, why does it have to? Everybody has to be
related.
Family heritage. Why can't you just be?
It's a big galaxy, and everybody seems to know each other in some.
That's kind of like how I like the Poe situation in that comic book, is because it kind of is. He's out by himself doing his own thing. You know what I mean?
We'll put it this way. I think like the Poe comic serves as a good reference for that. Like just because, and it's not against the actors. Actually, I've seen both these actors and other stuff, and they're both actually pretty good.
Yeah.
But like the way the character is written is the problem, right?
That's the problem.
Yeah. And when you take that character and you actually put him in something that's written well, it can actually be pretty
work very well.
So, yeah, we probably shouldn't be so dismissive of this novel. It could come out and be a good novel. I don't know, but
I don't know if I like the whole concept of like.
I mean, we focused on more minor, obscure Star Wars characters starring in a novel before, like the Red Inquisitress.
And look, he's a Force user. So
even Kira, in theory, is a more minor character than these two are. So,
but a Force user that's learning how to become the Force or something like that, which is intriguing. Maybe the book can actually
does he have the Force?
Deeper depth on the character himself.
Does he have the Force? Do we know
he does?
Hey, Ahsoka told us everyone has the Force. Okay.
Oh, okay.
You just have to try.
Well, everybody said. Well, Ahsoka said that. Also, who else said that too? Somebody else. Oh, didn't John say that in friggin' Skeleton Crew too? Everybody said that shit. Come on.
Yeah. You just have to try hard now. Apparently,
yeah.
Just try hard.
Some are more tuned in with the Force than others. That's what.
All right. What do we got next?
Next up, we got a newly announced comic series called Tales of the Nightlands from Kevin Scott, which is going to be a revival of the Star Wars horror stuff, which we're going to cover a little bit more in the comic section coming up here. But basically, it's going to be an extension of the Tales from Vader Castle type stuff. I don't think it's supposed to be like directly related to it. I think like spiritual successor. It's going to take place on Ryloth. So you'll get some pretty freaky, evil-looking Twi'lek bounty boogeyman type guys. So pretty interesting.
You got what we got. Star Weird is the one crazy character. Abeloth. You got this character. There is some like force use like god beings that are stronger.
Bintu or whatever.
Yeah, the Bendu and stuff like that.
He wasn't scary, but
he wasn't scary. But I'm saying that you have these entities that are crazy in Star Wars. That could they work on screen? Like if you really put them on screen, like
no, but they could work in a holiday special. Here's what I'll tell you this. So he just referenced the Vader castles or whatever that Scott did. He did those for what? Image, right? Or IDW?
IDW
for move. And for some reason, Dark Horse didn't pick them up. They are very popular among readers. Readers actually like this horror Dark Horse stuff. And I thought it was pretty good too. I thought the interior arts probably could be a little bit better, and they could have.
Yeah, it's a different style of art on the inside of it for sure.
But unfortunately, there were some characters there, the Graph Kids, that were pretty popular in that series, and they much like what they did with the Lego series when they had those the free makers, they just A6'd them. They get rid of them as soon as they decide to move on with the stuff. So hopefully there's a revival of maybe even the graphs being the horror aspect of it. And then if that's the case, I could see, as Dom was saying, them easily transfer that over into, a Halloween. That's like our new, because to be honest with you, another Lego holiday special is not what I'm looking forward to. You know what I mean?
I would do a Tales. Cover those already. A crazy stuff like this for Tales, like a Halloween Tales special. Where
I would. The best way to think of these is almost like a what if or like a Marvel Zombies type version of Star Wars.
Yeah,
in my mind. But
Dom, the problem with it is I don't think you're gonna be able to use Tales now that Dave used it. He won't let anybody else use that, so it's gonna be kind of tough. But Meyer, they're really good. If you haven't seen them, we'll cover them a little bit later and trying to get onto them. I think a lot of us are looking forward to this coming back. They did a really good job, and they're not long. They're usually 4 or 5 parts.
Yeah, this is only going to be this is going to be even shorter. This is only going to be 3 issues,
which is fine.
Well, they did in was it the Visions season 2? Remember they had about the Sith that was like the girl went into the cave and
the Screecher's Reach. That was a good one.
Yeah, Screecher's Reach. That was actually kind of a horror type of thing, which actually did pretty good. The cartoon was a good cartoon. So
I mean, there's definitely a thirst for it in this space. You know what I mean? Like, there's definitely it has a spot here. So
yes.
Also, the one good thing about these two is you can pick them up if you want to read them too. You can really pick them up as a trade.
It's only either you can pick it up as a trade or
So if you don't want to put it on your pull list, you'll likely have a trade shortly after. Like I said, it's 3 issues. No.
Don't they have the whole bunch of books in one book already? I think it was like a box set of several, like 5 books or something like that, if I remember right. But yeah, they basically have like something that put all the Vader's Castle stuff together into one thing. The Vader's Castle stuff was really good. It was intriguing. It
was. Yeah. I think there was 1 or 2 where I was like, I don't think this hit as hard as it should have, especially when we're coming down to like the third.
Of course, this is Dark Horse, so we may see it in like March of next year.
Yeah, the Dark Horse stuff is wild. So
I say this
we'll see what happens.
I don't know that I play.
We'll see what happens. Yeah. All right. What's next?
That's it.
That's it. That's all
news. To cover this week.
We do have a lot to cover. All right. Speaking of that, we'll go back to comics then, because that kind of drops us into comics. First things first, let's talk about our top 5 free comic book days. For those people that might be a little bit new, some of them won't. These are books that I always try to pick up when I'm digging for them. And I was actually surprised. This is Oppress's. Is this his first, JJ?
Yes, his first appearance.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So this is why it still does good. It's 2-sided. Most of these are. It had Avatar the Airbender on the side. Raw is still going for $15 to $40. 9.8 with 12 bids on it. Sold for $103 from a pretty reputable seller that put it to auction. I don't know why he puts stuff to auction, but he does. And when it does, it sells. He usually gets a decent amount of bids on it, but it sells pretty cheap. So that was kind of cool. I love this book. I probably got about 3 or 4 copies of this book. I just love the cover in itself.
Like, I'm sorry. I'm just saying, make sure you get the book without the stamp. Try to find it without the stamp.
Yeah, the stamp's on our side. So
that's where the $15 is coming in. You're going to see a bunch of range prices on this. The lower the grade on it, the grades really do vary on this. But some of the stamps might not be bad if you get a I don't know if Mile High or a famous one that went under already has a stamp on it, might be worth a stamp. Sometimes that works out better. So
some of them, I mean, some people like the stamp, and some of them also used to do. Can't remember if Dark Horse did it or not, where they would print for a big retailer. They would sometimes print it on there,
as
part of the book. So,
this is just might be a little too far fetched, but yeah, Savage Opress died, right? He died, and because there's always resurrections, people don't really die. I think
there's always tales too.
Do you think that we can maybe see Savage Opress maybe in live action in the Ahsoka series? Because with all those coffins that they have, maybe something resurrect. Because think about it, Tron is going to need a Force user to fight against.
Apparently not. He left.
Or Luke.
He left the two that he had on his side behind.
I know. Yeah.
I don't know that he does.
So that's what I'm trying to say. He's going to need a Force user. Somebody that.
Plus, he doesn't even know Ezra's there, so I don't know how on earth he's going to.
He don't know Ezra's there, but and you got Luke, and he didn't realize that Anakin's son Luke, because he was intrigued by Ahsoka being trained by Anakin, his son. So
he doesn't know about Luke though.
Yeah.
Well, he might just also have Force dampeners. We haven't gotten into that yet, but he might. We'll see. All right, number 2, probably my second favorite too. I just like it. This is I know I don't actually like this Grievous.
You should.
His first appearance. It's a good one too.
I don't like this Grievous, but I do like this book. This is not the best Grievous. Star Wars Adventures 2004.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's Pneumonia Grievous from the movie.
based off of the Gindi fucking
2003. I like that Grievous.
This is it. This is this one where they just do these two motions and Grievous just does this.
This is when Grievous was scary and actually meant something and wasn't like a comical relief droid robot that just got beat up by Obi-Wan for no reason.
Oh, he was all right in the other one. 9/8's going $100, 20 bids. Raw's $50. Now here's what this is actually getting to the point that he was making before.
That paper sucks.
It does, but also like the ones that have got stamps on and stuff like that are going for about $5. Where the hires go for $25. There was a really high sale for $35, but it was an off-put sale, so I didn't want to put it down there. But he is right on these. Condition matters with these free comic book days, so there will be high range, especially on these two, which are probably the two that sell more than anyone. I love this book. I don't know why I pick it up all the time. It's got a front and back. This is Star Wars from 2013. I will tell you this. When you advertise the Star Wars cover, it only sells for $5 to $10. But there's this first Airbender Midnight one on the back end, and believe it or not, that book sells for $10 to $15 when that's the front of the cover, which is wild because it's the same book, bro. Like same book. I don't understand it, and I actually think this is the better cover. It was a great cover on it.
The Boba Fett is pretty good. I like the drawing. The way the Boba Fett. You know what's funny? I actually saw this book. I actually saw that book. A foreign of this book.
Of this book?
Yeah, they had it on online.
Somebody just took the cover, so somebody just took the cover.
No, it was a foreign edition of a free comic book day.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I actually see this one, to answer Wiki's question, I see this one fairly often, but it's actually, like you said, it's advertised more as the Avatar.
Yeah, because the Avatar sells better for it.
Yeah. And
Avatar was one for $80.
Avatar is arguably more popular at this point than Star Wars was. Arguably.
Yeah. 2013. Yeah, sure. That's why Dark Horse lost Star Wars.
No, it's actually a Captain Midnight story in this too. That's why it's a.
Who's Captain Midnight?
No, it says includes a all new Captain Midnight story. So there's another story in there too.
Oh yeah. No, wasn't Captain Midnight the Avatar story? The Last Airbender? Isn't that what it was? I don't know. I never read the other story. That's why I like the new ones where they're giving you 3 Star Wars stories in it. For the people that look like familiar, they actually made this cover on a little kids book too. However, I enjoy it, and this is of the Clone Wars series where they had the actual Clone Wars series. The ones that famously is the homage to Leia and Luke looking out the window, and instead they have Anakin and Ahsoka. That one, the one that Dave did a couple covers for.
The first
not really that expansive of a book, but I don't know why. I don't know why I love this cartoon version of what's his name. He's just always, Kit Fisto. He's always smiling, and I think he's great. And they should do more on him. 2009. It averages $6 though for a free comic book, huh?
You know what was a really cool Kit Fisto thing? His episode in the micro series of Clone Wars by Genndy Tartakovsky. Really cool, Kit Fisto. Just saying.
He smiled even more in that shit. That's all he did. He had the huge teeth. Huge teeth. All right, and finally, the Cody book. That's not the Cody book.
Cody's not in it.
Star Wars. Everybody thought Cody was in this book, but he's not.
He's on the cover.
Not a bit.
Star Wars 2006. Shit, sorry about that. Another one, $4 average for the Star Wars book, but only a couple sales. If you flip it over, it's a Conan book, and that book sells way better than the Star Wars book.
Really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Nobody sells it for that, though. Everybody sells it for the Cody book.
So Conan's been through some rough times on the cover of the comic there. He had like 6 arrows in him. And
yeah, I know, dude. I can't even believe it. It's kind of crazy. It is what it is. Well, that's what we got for those. Now, let's look real quickly at Vader's Castle. We had a bunch of them. I will tell you, this is the surprise Vader Castle book. Most of them still sell for cover. We'll check out some of the sets. But Vader Castle had, and I don't know if this is true or not, but they said they had, for Shadow of Vader's Castle, which was a one-shot, they said they only did 1,000 copies of this. I don't know about that. What I do know is it's hard to get, and if you can pull these, it's the blank Vader's Castle. It's a all-black cover. It's crazy hard to get in good shape, too, without Marvel rub on it. And they go for $20 to $25 raw. And artists are always looking for this because they want to do stuff on this cover. So if you can find these, pull them.
You see they had the foreign editions had some Vader's black covers. You know, it's the first time that they did a black cover with American books.
You got to remember, though, some of the foreign editions were... TJ, how do I put this nicely? They weren't exactly what you would naturally think as a solicitation. Most of them were kind of like a grimy way of something that was already doing well in the U.S., and they were just kind of reprinting something and trying to sell it to you that way. And they're not as sought after in most cases as the American version.
It depends. I'll preface this by saying, like, if it's by like a big publisher, like a Panini is basically Marvel of Europe.
Yeah.
For comics in a way. So if it's like by Panini, you're probably pretty good. If it's like some like other country where it's like then it gets a little more sketchy.
Yeah.
And a lot of print on demand stuff. All right.
Yeah.
And here we go for the sets. This is kind of what we were talking to Meyer about too. Maybe not buy it right away. Depending on how you did it and where you're sending it, I assume they were sending it because it costs a little bit more to send to England, but it's almost like $40 US to go there. Out here, it's about $20 for the set of 5, which is still pretty good for what used to be dollar books at one point, because a lot of these Vader Castles, after they came out pre-pandemic, I mean, you could really get them for 50 cents. And then all of a sudden, people started getting into the series, noticed that the covers were really cool, like that horror stuff, and they started to pick back up to a little bit over. But Meyer, if you want to wait and you just want, yes, bootleg is the right way to call it, Meyer. But hey, if you want to wait a little bit, you can kind of get these. But it's good to see these still do sell sets. And it's not like 1 or 2 sets. It's like they average $20 for the set of 5, which is kind of cool, depending on which thing it is. There is a RI in this, which is a black and white cover for most of them. Those do sell for more, just to let you know. And then finally, this book that I still haven't shipped out, but somebody asked, so I'm going to let you know. And there's multiple sales on this, but this is kind of the averaging, was anywhere between 100, depending on condition and how you label it, all the way up to 160. Well, I actually went to 170 a couple of them this week. But shit, this book's still selling for a lot, and I don't know why, because it's not that great. Too bad I didn't bring back a whole short box of them. But either way, still selling, still doing well. No longer $300, but now still in the 150 on average range. So there you go. That should be it for this week. And that, now that we cut through those two in under an hour, good job, us. Congratulations, us getting through this. We got through news and we got through comics all in 1 hour.
Well, you don't have one half of the argument, brothers, starting an argument every 5 seconds.
Oh yeah, fair enough.
Each other.
Those two going after it. All right.
Yeah.
Let's get into
Makes it a lot shorter,
which one do we want to do first, Andor, or do we want to do Tales?
Okay. Well, Tales is Tales is going to be spoiler free. Dom and everyone else, keep it spoiler free.
We'll do it later because it might not be spoiler free. We're going to try. Let's get to Andor then.
No, we're going to do it spoiler free.
We're going to try.
This has been out for 5 days. If you haven't watched this, spoiler alert, we're going to spoil it for you.
Okay, yeah. Andor episodes 4 through 6.
Yeah. So I'm going to do this a different way. So we don't have I literally timed. Well, I didn't time, but I just looked at the timestamps for our review from last week. It was only about 56 minutes long. So
okay.
I'm going to do this a different way. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to do each episode. I'm going to give you guys a quick summary, and then you guys can free talk about it forever you want, and we're going to do that for each episode. So I'm going to give you a 4-minute summary for each episode.
Okay.
And then you can talk about it how you want after that. So.
I'll put on mute. All right. Go ahead.
All right.
Muting me.
Here we go. Episode 4. Basically, we start off with Bix and Andor are living together. Bix is getting still her, post-traumatic stress dreams of Dr. Was it? I want to say Gorman. That's not right. Gerst, I think, or something was his name. Dr. Gerst. So she keeps waking up in the middle of the night, thinking he's there, attacking him and everything else. We open up also with Cyril. Cyril's having a good old time. He's now on planet Gorman. He's been there for some time. He's on the up and up, so to speak. He's now been promoted to the Bureau of Standards head for whatever, I guess for Gorman, I suppose. And Gorman's an interesting place. It very obviously, and somebody can correct me if I'm wrong when we get to the review part, but it's very obviously set on a place in a time period. I'll get to it in a little bit.
It's like France. It's like a Dutch. It's
like France in the early 1940s.
Yeah,
We'll get to it more in a minute. But we also get reintroduced to Deidre. Deidre is now been taken off the Axis case, which the Axis case is basically Andor and Luthen. And they've made it look like she's sidelined because she was basically failed on Ferrix and, she's an embarrassment. In reality, we see a little bit later in this episode with Pendergast that it's not necessarily the truth. But also on Gorman, they call themselves the Gorman Front. And they're like this little resistance movement of about a dozen people, it seems like, and they're not very experienced. And we also get reintroduced to Lonnie. Yes. Lonnie, for all those who don't remember, is Luthen's spy in the ISB. And he'll actually play a pretty integral role as the episodes go on. Mon Mothma's still doing her thing to apply the Senate. She has a lot of meetings with senators. She's not having much luck changing anybody's mind, but she's still there doing it. You get introduced to this guy who's kind of the workman's head on Gorman. Gorman has a big town council meeting. Cyril's invited. Cyril, basically is seen kind of conversing with the resistance there, and they kind of try to bring him into their fold as he kind of is at least playing at being an insider. When we reveal later in the episode, he's also talking to Deidre, so he's actually basically working with resistance, not the other way around. You get Luthen, and then at the very end we get Saw.
Best part.
Actually, well, first I'll say Luthen sends Andor on a mission. So Andor really doesn't do much in this episode besides get sent to Gorman. We see his interactions with Bix. But this is Luthen at the end basically is sending him to Gorman to assess how this Gorman resistance is working out. And we get Saw, which Saw shows up at the same time as Wilman. Wilman was the kid from the first 3 episodes.
The father one when I was tortured in Ferrix.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know. That's pretty much the end of this episode. So you guys can free talk whenever you want. I'll start off by saying 2 things. One, I hate Saw's character now. He just gives these long-winded, almost overly romantic, annoying speeches.
I know, but he's fucking nuts. He's nuts, man.
Nuts. Yeah, he's very unhinged at this point. He's even more unhinged than when you saw him in Rogue One. Somehow.
I know. It's just,
but he is.
He's just. What? You came to kill me? The type of way he talks.
Yeah, but no, I think JJ does have a point. It's kind of falling on deaf ears because it's like, okay, it's like the crazy homeless guy. The first time you hear him screaming, you're like, okay, cool. But now you're like, I don't know. Is he asking for McDonald's? I don't even give a shit anymore.
But I like the music.
Care.
when they went to the planet and they played the music. Yeah, I like the theme.
I will say this, and I guess this is a cop on all three, but we'll get whatever. I like how they're releasing them, and it's each one's a story arc, right? So we're getting a story arc every time. I didn't know if it was going to work well. I think it is. I don't mind the resistance, the French resistance thing. I liked it. I mean, Star Wars has always had a base off of history. We've talked about that before.
Yeah,
we know what's going on here.
I mean,
we can see it.
They basically speak Star Wars French.
Yeah, so it's kind of.
If that didn't match very closely to what French is.
Yeah.
I mean, they speak Star Wars French.
Okay, all right. The one thing about Andor, which is fascinating, it's you get the aliens are very far few in between. It's mostly just regular human beings, people that
humanoids. You can call them
humanoids. Yeah, humanoids. Yeah, they're doing their thing, this and that. And not a lot of alien. You have some alien interaction, but the planet, they go to Gorman, and the whole planet, you have maybe one or two aliens on the planet, and the rest is all humanoids and stuff like that. It's interesting, but I think Gorman is actually a pretty place, man. It's something that it sucks that Gorman is going to get whacked.
Yeah. Well, that's the question, though. Is it? We'll get. I guess it comes up more in the next episode, but I don't know if that it is. It's going to get whacked, kind of, but I don't know that it's going to get whacked on the same thing we thought it was before. Yeah.
Well, the whole thing is that they kind of had either.
Well, they had the Tarkin thing. They had the
Tarkin thing was the Gorman.
That's the Gorman massacre. Yeah. So.
So
that it. Yeah, JJ's right. We already know it. So there might. Everybody thought the Gorman massacre was going to happen now. But we know it already happened once.
No, but that one happened. So there's two of them 10 years prior.
Well, there might be two of them.
No, we'll see.
That's what JJ's bringing up. I thought it was pretty good. I have it on the Crooked Wizard thing. I thought it was, I mean, as a lead-in one, if we're looking at it as just an episode that's leading in, it's hard to grade. By itself, it was okay. But releasing it how it's supposed to be watched with 3 episodes in there, I thought it was pretty good. It was a pretty good start arc, pretty good first episode for an arc. So I got a thumbs up.
Yeah. I like I said, to me, Andor's always been a little bit more about the other people involved in the rebellion. I like how we focused on this episode, at least initially, more on 2 things. You saw a lot of Gorman, which is good. And you saw a lot of Cyril, which is good. When we didn't see either one of those things a lot in the first 3 episodes. And I actually found Cyril's the start of his arc to be pretty compelling. He's there, he is now he's kind of on the up and up, but he's also he's being watched by the resistance or whatever, so he's very careful about his movements. And they don't. I like how they don't play it out he's really turning to the good side, to the rebellion or whatever. They don't play that out at all. They basically tell you almost from the start. Or about 5 or 10 minutes in, that he's actually working the resistance there in Gorman for the Empire.
Yeah, I like how he played out his mom too. That was really good.
Yeah. So I to me this was a, like you said, it's hard to measure on its own, but it's a Wizard episode. I think. I mean, if you're watching at this point, this is basically building into a lot of the espionage spy stuff that we're going to get in the next 2 episodes. So it's a little bit of a slow burn, but.
Give me a Route 44. What? Zach, you all right, bro?
I don't know what that means.
I don't. Zach been smoking too much of it today. Dom, what do you got?
That's not good. I'll say that.
What is
I'm enjoying the series. I really like it. I don't care. I don't care about the slow burn. I don't care about. I'm just really intrigued, and I feel like I'm telling you. These characters, you feel for these characters. I love the interactions. I love just the dialogue. I'm loving this show, and it's it has moments. It's like every character you do feel for. Cyril, you're looking at Cyril. My man is not going to make it out alive. I think he's going to get. I think the Empire is going to kill him because I feel bad for him because he's on this thing. But I really enjoy the character interaction. Every character has a unique arc about themselves, and the dialogue they have, it's on par, man. And I Wizard all the way, and I can't wait to Tuesday because now we're getting very close to Rogue One now, which we get in the middle. So there is going to be a lot more action.
6 more episodes.
Yeah, so 3 more. And, you know, it's sad because, you know, these characters all die, which really it breaks your heart because.
Well, you don't know that. Yeah, I mean,
Andor
dies, but you don't know what happens to Luthen. You don't know what. I mean, we know Mon doesn't die.
Well, you know that.
You don't know what happens to Bix. You don't know what happens. I mean, you don't know what happens to all these characters. So,
you know, I really like Bix's character. You know, she's unhinged, and I kind of, you know, I feel bad for her because she's getting the whole. She's like really messed up, and like I really do. I enjoyed it, man. Wizard, man, for that. Definitely, man.
All right, well, let's leap into episode 5. So rolling into the next episode, Dom off the lead. So off the lead, we get Andor basically picking up. He's agreed to take the Gorman mission for Luthen. He's picking up his gear. You get maybe the weirdest looking alien guy I've seen on Andor,
and a girl that came out of the room. So you know something's going on there.
A huge dude is apparently Andor's delivery guy, but. I guess I'll stop here to just ask somebody a question, but the squeaky voice. So they give Andor like this transmission thing that has his background of what he's going to be doing in Gorman as far as like his secret identity and stuff. Yeah. It's the weirdest squeaky voice, like it's on helium or something.
Well, you know who the voice is?
Is that the guy's voice? Is that the gigantic alien guy's voice?
No, it's actually Sam Witwer. I just read about it. Sam
Witwer. I mean, like in the show, is it supposed
to be? I think it is supposed to be the guy's voice.
It's supposed to be the guy, but Sam Witwer did the voice on the microphone, telling him who his identity was. But that, I'm going to tell you what, he came out of the room like, oh, like freaking Lurch from freaking the Addams Family.
Yeah, he was huge. It was weird. Not who expected you to come out of the back room was that guy. I'll put it that way. Yeah. But we get then, is it Clara? I think Clara is Luthen's assistant. She's back in the radio room. She catches wind of some strange stuff going on with Davos Skellman. Apparently, they've planted a bug in there to keep an eye on him and Mon. Why they put it in his vault, I'm not sure. Apparently, Davos Skellman must keep a lot of time in his vault, but they put a bug in there to listen in on him. And then we find out that Cyril is video calling frequently his mother, which seems odd, but you then realize that he's actually using his mother. Because the resistance is tapping his phone.
Oh, so shit. I thought that was in the last episode. Yeah.
No, because they know, because
that's how well this flows together. Like, it does a good job flowing
together. That was
together.
the last episode. No.
He knows that there's a bug in his office. That's why he does it.
Yeah. So the ISB actually eventually comes and finds the bug in his office, but he knew it was there all along. You also get Bix is now kind of left to her own devices. Oddly enough, Luthen shows up to check on Bix. I thought he was going to try to kill Bix at that point.
Bix is his voice. You know, he feels that because of Andor that she's a dude and he wants the best soldiers. That's the kind of thing he's looking at. That he thinks that because of their relationship, it's holding them back.
I don't know
that type of thing. And Luthen,
hold on. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
On the Luthen aspect, before I lose track of it, I actually don't like the arc of Luthen. It seems too chaotic, and that they're kind of using him as like this really chaotic way to explain stuff, and it kind of gets lost, right? Like his character now loses weight, right? He's supposed to be this person who's a leader, whatever. He's yelling at his assistant about a fucking device, and
they're showing him. I think the point is they're trying to show him kind of basically he's losing it in a way.
Yeah, I get it, but didn't we already see that with the other senator?
He's lost control of what he can. So before he was in control of everything, right? We saw up until basically up until this point, he's been in control of everything. He's been able to see, he's had the right comms, know what's going on everywhere. Everything else, he basically knows what's happening. He's been able to plan all the moves. Now we've gotten to the point where the Empire is starting to get ahead of him, and there's a whole lot of chaos going on. The rebellion's popping up in different places. You've got Saul Guerrero off, trying to do his own thing, and he's trying to figure out what Saul is doing. So I think there's this chaotic. There's so much going on, he can't handle it all quite, and I think he kind of loses at the end. At least in this episode.
I guess. Yeah. I guess that's a weaker part. Like for a character that I think we really enjoyed in the first season, it seems very
his paranoia and stuff is going to probably get the best of him. What's going to happen is that he's going to make a mistake, and that's what.
Because in this episode, there's even the part where he meets up with Lonnie, the ISB guy, and Lonnie gives him the intel that Deidre's been taken off the case and everything like that. and they're also lining up Gorman. But Lonnie can't give him the full story because he doesn't know that much. But Luthen gets pissed because he says, "Listen, I have to start knowing everything. If I don't know everything, then I know nothing," or something like that. And I think that's where he's coming from mentally as a character. But yeah, but I get what you're saying. It's a vast departure from the character you saw in season 1.
Yeah, it's a different arc, a different way of the direction the character is going since the first season.
Yeah, I guess, but I also see like even with the angry about the why are you yelling at her about the thing you've been telling him to track the whole time? That doesn't make sense logically.
Well,
in a thought process.
She does make the mistake of putting the bug in there in a place where somebody could possibly find it. That's why he's so upset.
But apparently
but at the same time, he approved it or something like that, and he doesn't even remember approving it. It seems like or something.
But apparently, the artifact that he has is a bogus one. That's why.
Yeah.
No.
He has one. Basically, they put a listening device in Davos Gavin's vault in an artifact that they gave Davos. But Davos also has other artifacts in the vault, one of which is a fake. And Davos is super upset that one of those is a fake. So he's going to pull all the other artifacts and have them checked thoroughly to make sure they're real, which would also
but they don't. That fake one didn't come from.
Didn't come from Luthen. No.
Okay.
No. And we get the resistance that figures out Cyril's background. You get a very odd interaction, which actually that's Devil Skadden's assistant there in the right hand side. That's where you learn about the bug. Andor arrives on Gorman finally with his was it Varian Sky, his very slick clothing designer personality that he has. And he talks to some of the people, and this is where we learn the Gorman massacre already happened. Or at least the first one under Tarkin killed like 500 people when he wanted to land. They've erected a whole monument and it's all gone on. And apparently the resistance is under the impression that they're actually building an armory in the middle on Gorman for something, right? Basically in the middle of town. Cyril tries to assure them that that's not what's happening, but they think that's happening. And then Cyril basically agrees to give them information, which that information is obviously a plant. So he also has a very weird interaction where he goes home as Andor shows up. When he goes home, he has a very odd interaction with Deidre.
I know.
Which I'll just say,
cut the lights off.
It ends with him turning off the lights.
Turn off the lights.
Yeah, and
they don't have enough time.
Both of them are in full clothes. It's the weirdest
He's
interaction.
like, no, because they didn't have enough time. He said, shut off the lights. Let's get this going.
Boom, boom, they only have 1 hour, I guess, together or something like that. But it was the parallels they draw of couples in this is interesting because you had in the next episode too, but you had Deidre and Cyril, with Cyril being undercover as a couple, and you also have Bix and Andor with Andor being
that,
undercover.
The hand thing and stuff like that. Yeah. Hey, look, I don't know. It's just I don't mind all that craziness. Of the story's been, like I said, is great. Leading up to what's what. I don't care what's in this and how it works out. It's just above all the other stuff, and that's why if you just put stuff in there for the sake of putting stuff in there, and the story kind of sucks, then you start nitpicking. What is God, this and that. But when you put stuff in there, it just flows in with the whole story part, which makes it.
Well, and to me, I love that the way they're developing characters, even Andor. So as they develop Andor in this thing, he meets the Gorman resistance, right? In this episode, and meets with the lead guy who is basically kind of like the mayor of the town, or that's how I took it at least. And as they're meeting, he basically realizes that this Gorman resistance is basically this kind of immature, just group of people who kind of have no idea what they're doing, but at the same time they want to hijack. Their plan is to hijack a military shipment from the Empire.
Way over
and he's convinced that they're going to get themselves all killed.
Yeah,
basically, more or less. And so he comes away with that impression of at least I'm not going to help you kill yourselves, and kind of walks away from the thing. But at the very end, we get Saw again at the end of this episode, and Saw's interaction is I still haven't figured out what on earth they're trying to do. I haven't even figured this out yet of what on earth they're trying to do. They kind of tell you in the next episode, but him and an engineer that works for Saw, Will and an engineer that works for Saw are tampering with this machine in order to get a sequence right. Apparently to pull off some kind of heist.
Well, it's
or
the,
it's a bomb, or it's something like I don't. It's they made it seem like it was going to be a bomb.
It's the fuel that the Empire has. It said that's the fuel that's why he's fucking nuts. That's why Sora's nuts.
Yeah, so I don't know. Yeah, but we get Saw at the end executes the guy.
Getting high off his own.
He was a plant.
Yeah. He executes the guy, assuming that he was a plant because Saul has told him some false information that he thinks got related to the Empire. Although you don't actually see the guy relay anything to the Empire. I think Saul's just crazy. I don't think the guy was really a plant.
I think Two Tubes. I think Two Tubes put that on him because when he goes, "Go get the proof."
Yeah, I think it was a setup. Saul didn't think he could do it. Didn't think his own engineer could do it. I think he wanted Will to do it, and so that's why he killed that guy and basically brought Will on the mission instead.
That was intense, though. It was intense.
It was an intense moment. Yeah,
I think
good. It wasn't bad. It's just awkward.
I do think there is some failures in this episode, and I kind of heard what Dom said. I think we do give a pass on some of the dumb shit, like keep the lights off and just some other stuff that happened in there. I think this little bit with Saw, once again, he didn't need to do a crazy fucking monologue though. Like, can we not have a monologue every time we see him? It's got to be a monologue. Like, you're not winning any Oscars here, buddy.
But yeah, well, that's one of the things I wonder if that's the. So normally, you know me, I'm a guy that's like, oh, it's the writing and the direction more than the acting a lot of times. But in this case, knowing Forrest Whitaker, I almost wonder if it's more the acting than it is the writing and the directing. Because Forrest Whitaker loves that stuff. Like, if you've ever seen him in any other movies, like a long-winded, like, overly.
Nothing he loves more. What was the King of Ireland?
Nothing he loves more than delivering a long-winded, overly dramatic speech in a film or a show. So
Godfather,
Butler, the Butler, he did it in a bunch. He did it in
Last King of Scotland. I mean,
that's I said Last King. Oh, I said Last King of Ireland, Last King of Scotland. That's what Scotland. Yeah. Same thing. Yeah, there's when he was Bumpy Johnson, he did like three just monolithic.
Godfather Harlem. Yeah.
Monolithic ones. So, I mean, I still give it a thumbs up because it played well. The best parts play really well. So we're giving them, kind of as Dom alluded to, we're giving them a pass on the bad parts.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, thumbs up, man, Wizard.
I mean, to me, there's always things like you can nitpick out of this thing pretty easily. That like you said are kind of crazy or even stupid, or for instance, like I said, I couldn't really even establish, even in the next episode, till they actually show them there. I had no idea what on earth they were trying to do.
Yeah, absolutely. They lost track of that.
I thought it was a bomb for 2 episodes.
Me too. And by the way, for the monologues that were going on, we should have known. And here's the other part.
Yeah, you spent basically 15 or 20 minutes there. You should probably know.
I will give you this. The Andor is absolutely pointless so far in these 2 episodes.
To me, the Andor thing makes more sense because Andor is basically, I think, learning at this point even more so who Luthen is and what Luthen's part in the rebellion is. And I don't know that he more and more he finds himself kind of disagreeing with, I think, Luthen's tactics on things.
I guess, but we already saw this. It was pretty much the same speech he gave there as he did originally when he ran into all those people on the abandoned ship planet. So,
yeah, but that was dealing with idiots. Like, Luthen's very smart. I just think he's
not Luthen. I'm talking about when he's talking to the Paris people.
Gorman.
Well, that's the important part, though, is the resistance. That's what he's there for, is to judge.
Yeah, he's there for is to be the.
Yeah, but he doesn't do anything for them.
I know, because he didn't want to get them killed because
he doesn't want to do anything for them because he knows
they had no plan. They just wanted to steal something.
I think so. In this episode, they don't really say it till the next episode, but I think in this episode he figures out that basically Luthen sent him there basically to evaluate the resistance and see if they can pull off whatever they're supposed to pull off. But
Luthen wants.
We figure out that that's not really what Luthen sent him there for. Luthen sent him there to help them, but Luthen thought he could convince him to help them by sending him there, and he would see firsthand what's happening on Gorman. Where Andor sees firsthand what's happening, but then also understands if they do what they're thinking they're going to do against the Empire, basically the Empire is just going to come down on them and destroy everyone.
Luthen wants that to happen to Gorman.
Exactly, Luthen wants the rebellion to explode there.
That's why he wants
using the Gorman resistance.
Yeah.
So. Hey, Meyer. Yeah, I mean, I get it.
And I think Andor disagrees with that, I guess, approach of basically using somebody just so they can be wiped out.
Fair. That's fair. Yeah. All right.
But overall, to me, this was thumbs up too. I agree with everybody else.
Right. Wizard.
Next episode, like I said, Luthen. The one thing that surprised me was Luthen showing up to pick up Andor.
I know.
From Gore. That was kind of shocking. And apparently he went there, like I said, with the purpose of, talking Andor into trying to help them, which didn't work. Andor still said no. He's going to sit this one out. We find Bix, we got one scene of Bix at the end of the last episode. I didn't clip it, but she's basically strung out on the couch watching television.
So it was like the holiday special. If you look at the people that were talking,
it was more like The View.
Yeah, I think it was supposed to be like, yeah.
But it's like a talk show or something that she's strung out holding a blaster and everything. We find out too that she's been using drugs. But when Andor gets back, everything's cleaned up. She's all happy. I'm sure Dom liked that scene because she's wearing a tank top and everything else. But everything's cheery, bright-eyed kind of housewife-esque thing. But she also tells him that Luthen showed up and Luthen wanted her to go on a mission to assess some weapons, which I think will become interesting too later in this episode for a different reason. But
do you know in real life who she's dating? She's dating Jason Momoa. That's
oh really?
Yeah,
I did not know that.
I'm like, damn, man.
Yeah, but it also causes quite a bit of anger in nervousness in Andor that he showed up and Luthen didn't tell him. He thinks Luthen's working Bix in a way to undermine him, I guess.
No, because Andor's worries about her. That's why.
Yeah, well, it sets up an interesting dynamic between him and Luthen, where they're almost trying to outsmart each other in a way, which I don't know. I think that goes by the wayside, but because Andor leaves Gorman behind and doesn't want to go into it, we end up with is it Vel? I think who is Mon Mothma's cousin. Val and what's the name? Syntha.
Yeah, they didn't telegraph that shit at all, did they?
No. But they reunite on the planet. Syntha's apparently been away for a year, which I thought was kind of weird because the last time we saw her a year ago, she was killing the one guy in the car.
Yeah, then she
So I thought that she said she had an accident a year ago. I don't know if the accident involved anything like that. They don't tell you.
You could get liquid. You could get spice sticks, which were not a powder.
No. Well, the death sticks are.
I don't know. Yeah, they don't tell you what the drug that Bix is taking. It's supposedly supposed to help her sleep, although it doesn't seem to do that. But Luthen in the last episode does explain that like it might help at first, but it also makes the dreams or the visions or whatever worse over time or something like that. So, and we get Mon, who we didn't actually have much interaction with Mon at all in these 3 episodes until this one, where she kind of is finding out that her and Perrin have all these things. Apparently, there's a bunch of new senators. I don't know if they've been newly elected or what. They've had to do like basically this worldwide tour of like charming all these people, and even Perrin is getting exhausted of going to parties and stuff. Even he doesn't want to do it anymore. But they end up having to go to one more party, which of course is Davos's party. And then we find out in a little interesting drop that these 2 gentlemen, I can't even remember the other ISB guy's name, and Lonnie are told by Pendergast that they've now been assigned to keep an eye on Dr. Is it Gerst? I think Gerst.
Yeah.
On Dr. Gerst, because Dr. Gerst is basically being promoted to head of torturing or something like that.
Yeah.
In Coruscant. So they are assigned to keep an eye on him, which I thought this was interesting, and I think will come back to play in a little bit.
Yep.
We get Luthen and his assistant going to the party, and then we're followed up by more of the Resistance. The Resistance is now under Syntha's and Bell's command. You get Henry Cavill Light there on the bottom left to do that, which I thought was interesting. So the Resistance doesn't like the fact that they're in command, even though the Resistance on Gorman doesn't know anything. Apparently. But they don't like that somebody's in charge of them, which is weird. And then we get the dynamic of what do you guys think of fake Bail Organa?
Oh, real good. I like it. I like it. I don't give you know what? Let me tell you something. He's a good actor. And you know what? This is going to show that they can recast characters, man. Stop it already.
Well, now he's only there for 30 seconds. Basically,
I know, but
people start to arrive at the party, and he's leaving as Mon Mothma arrives, and they interact for about 30 seconds, where they basically just say hi to each other, more or less.
They make a big deal of it. The whole fact is that, look, Jimmy Smith wasn't available, and I think it was a good pick to play Bale. But this gives you the thing that you can change things now. Like Luke Skywalker, you can recast Carrie Fisher, recast Harrison Ford. If you want these shows to continue to move forward, you can recast. At this point, the CGI is good, but come on, man, let's be real. It's a lot of money, and sometimes it looks creepy.
My thing is, if they're going to use CGI for something, I almost would have rather them used it for this, but I don't mind it at all because it's 30 seconds. I don't really care one way or another, to be quite honest.
Yeah,
and then Benjamin Bratt's a good fill-in. He did fine.
Come on, but look, the little bit of time that he had there, I wouldn't mind if he was in the whole show. We're still getting the story moving forward. It's a different character, yes, but he is based on the same character. He's got the acting chops. Just move forward. We're at a time now.
I didn't have a problem with it. I don't think we got to get that deep into it. I don't think we have to get that deep into it. I just think it worked. Did it work? Okay, it worked. Yeah. It worked.
I know some people complained about it. I don't know.
Oh my God, they complained about it. People are dumb.
Yeah.
Dude, people complain about everything. Complain about these nuts, dude. Like, I don't care.
My one thing though is I am a little bit interested. What on earth is Jimmy Smith doing?
Well, actually,
I thought he died. I'll be honest with you. I thought he died. When I saw that, I was like, well,
no, he didn't die.
I was like, the main actor that used to play him must be dead.
I think he's doing another movie. He's got other stuff coming out. He's still
sure
acting. He's still got other things that are acting.
He couldn't cut a 30-second.
You don't hear about Jimmy Smith that much.
He's the only guy that doesn't want a Star Wars bag. Everybody else is begging for Star Wars bags. He's the last guy. Never wanted a Star Wars bag. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad. And supposedly him and Benjamin Bratt know each other, so it's good they got somebody who kind of knows them to fill in. But
that's cool.
I like that. But again, people start arriving at the party. The party interactions are interesting. We get Luthen smooshing people in his art dealer personality instead of his rebellion personality. We get his assistant is now smoozing Lonnie because apparently she's going to use Lonnie to retrieve the listening device in some way.
Block the view.
Yeah. It's kind of weird in putting Lonnie in about the worst position possible, but because who else is there but Director Krennic?
That part was intense. That was an intense part.
It was pretty intense. Krennic show up, and I liked how Krennic was basically taking jabs at Mon the whole time. Mon was taking jabs at him too, but him and Mon basically trade words over the rebellion, and you can tell that. I almost like in this way because the first time around in Rogue One, Krennic was like this very like driven by his ambition type of person. Where he was basically like, all about completing the Death Star, and you didn't really know if he cared that much about the Empire. But here you see him more of like almost an Empire truther, and that like he's like, yeah, listen, like this is what the Empire's doing, and it's great, and this is why, and all throughout history, and blah blah blah. So you see him more as a hardliner or whatever you want to call it here than you did in Rogue One. But anyways, of course, the heist goes awry on Gorman at night, and
there you go. Jimmy Smith is in the
for some reason, out of the blue shows up Angry Town Hall Guy. Angry Town Hall Guy gets into an argument with Young Idiot Guy. Young Idiot Guy accidentally shoots Cinta and kills her.
Never saw that coming.
They still get away with the goods
after the intimate scene that they had earlier. So
yeah, it was kind of a touching scene. I'll give you this much: I thought it was a little bit odd that Cinta got almost a more touching send off than like B2 Emo and Brasso did in the last 3 episodes. Because, she gets carried by the big guy and all that and like, and set down gently and goes.
And B2 is coming back, man, in a big way. So
I did think one thing that was interesting was I kind of liked, up until this point, I hate the 2 characters I probably hated most in Andor.
You did say that was supposed to happen this week. Dominant didn't.
No, I didn't say this week. I said it's going to happen before the series is over. Because Take 2 is coming this week. No, I didn't say this week. I said when it
now you just said this week again. All right. Anyways, hey, can I get back to Kendrick real quickly? I actually think you're getting a wrong take on that. And I actually thought that was probably the best scene out of all the series so far of this grouping. Yeah. I don't know if he is that lovely to the Empire because we know from all the other readings of the books and the novels and everything else, he is out for himself, has been. I think he absolutely fucking hates Mon Mothma. Oh, yeah. And what he was doing there was just a shit fest of fuck you. I know you hate the Empire, and I'm just going to tell you You're a piece of shit.
It was like watching a political debate on a Crossfire show or something.
Yeah.
Like literally, like they're going at each other like they're opposites, which they are. So it makes sense.
I don't think he believed it at all. And she was doing the same thing. She's giving the smile back bullshit. So like,
shit. Well,
I think they were both hiding their true intentions. And I honestly, that was probably some of the smartest writing and some of the smartest acting that we've seen in the series. It really was. It really was.
I can tell you this. Lonnie has a lot of explaining to do because what happens, JJ?
Oh, well, at the very end. So that's the thing I was going to get to.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, I thought Lonnie actually covered himself pretty well at the party. Like, Lonnie's getting used by what's her name to pull out the listening device, which I thought was crazy. Because Lonnie's like their biggest asset in the Empire. Like, why on earth you would do that to the one guy that, like, you know, if he gets found out, would probably instantly get killed, and you'd get found out too.
Sure, for sure.
But the crazy part was Lonnie actually covered himself pretty well. But then in the very last scene, we kind of wonder what Bix and Andor were doing this whole episode, because we hardly saw them at all. And it turns out they're gonna kill Dr. Gerst. They ambush him in Dr. Gerst's office. Bix ties them up, puts the whatever it is crazy ass machine thing on him, turns it on all the way, and basically turns them nuts. And then on the way out, she straight up executes a guard.
That was cool. Hey, this one's been here. Boom. Yeah. That was awesome. Right, that was great.
And,
I like that.
Also, we get Andor ends the show with a bang. I don't know. Could you might tell if he supposed to be blowing up Gerst's office with him in it, or just blowing up the building?
Yeah.
So he blew Gerst up too. Okay.
Yeah.
So, anyways, they basically blow up Gerst's office. But yeah, it ends with a bang. The interesting part is, like Dom said, the only two ISB people that are supposed to know about Gerst being there on Coruscant and being promoted and protected and everything are Lonnie and the other shorter ISB guy whose name I don't remember. Somehow Andor and Bix have found out not only Gerst's location, but I've also figured out a way that he's not very protected at a certain time, been able to break in and kill him more or less.
Yeah, so there's going to be... Yeah.
Where did that information come from? Did it come from Luthen? Did Lonnie tell Luthen, and then Luthen told Andor? And because right before this scene, there's one scene with Luthen where Andor tells him, "Listen, you have to help me fix this, or it's over," or whatever type of thing. Was this the fix? Was it?
This was the fix because I think that once she killed the nightmares, she took him out. That's it. Had the nightmares now.
Who's to say that they haven't been tracking him though? Especially those two.
Well, maybe, but
here's
it just seemed an awful coincidence to me that those are the only two ISB guys that.
I don't know if they're going to get to that point, but Lottie has if they do that, he's probably just going to throw the other guy under the bus.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. All right.
So I don't know, but that was it. That was basically the end of that episode. So you can measure that episode, and then you can also give your total score.
I'll give it both. Both are. It's getting thumbs up for this and thumbs up total for the thing. That was a great ending to it. It ended like blowing up that building at the end, the walk away thing, and killing that guy is just how it should have ended. They're actually, we always complain that there's no stakes and nobody dies. Well, people died this time. They died
on both sides this time.
Yeah.
Yep. So I don't know, man. Overall, great. Thumbs up, really good. I'm like Dom, I'm in the same camp. Can't wait till Tuesday. Excited for it. Let's see.
I am thrilled. I mean, to me, it was Wizard all the way in this episode. Like Marco said, it caps off. So I think even me, as I watched the first two episodes of this arc or whatever you want to call it that they released this week, I got to thinking like, man, this kind of better have a pretty good payoff. And it does. In the end. Like the payoff in this episode, I think both with the party scene and with the bombing or killing of Gerst scene, you see both of those played out really great.
Agreed.
I wasn't so much ironically, the storyline I thought at the fourth episode ended up the worst in the sixth episode, which was the Gorman resistance thing. I didn't, partially because I didn't care at all about Vel and especially Cinta. Like, I never liked the will they, won't they, like, oh, we have to keep so far apart, yet we want to keep so close together. And it had nothing to do with their relationship. It was just the fact that, like, I don't like that kind of like when a character pines for another character for a season and a half of TV, it gets kind of annoying after a while. Agreed. So I was ready to have that relationship move on one way or another, whether it was like they go off and disappear or she dies or whatever. I was ready for that part of the story to kind of be done with. And I thought Vel's was I the only one that thought Vel was going to shoot that young dude?
I thought he was too.
Shot her by accident. I thought Vel was going to kill him, but actually,
but the words,
credit to them. One of the best speeches, besides maybe Ben Mendelsohn's Krennic speech, was her speech to the kid.
Yep.
Agreed.
That was good.
Yeah. The thing I didn't show here was also the Saw thing.
He's sucking in the helium.
Saw gives that more of that kind of long-winded speech, and they, we're gonna inhale it. It's gonna be great. Apparently the kid
get high off. We're gonna get high off gas.
He inhaled it.
We didn't touch on that.
How are you doing that?
They get high
this
together.
Is his sister. He called it his sister. So his sister, he's nuts. He's a friggin' lunatic, man.
But and like I said, I didn't know up until the end where they hook up to a fuel depot that's what they were doing. Like, so that part of all 3 episodes, like combined, that was the part I disliked the most. Probably.
I don't know, man. I disagree with that. I think that showing how crazy that Saw Gerrera is, he's a nut job.
Yeah, but I didn't need to see it 3 times to know he's crazy. I already know he's crazy for one.
But it's showing the fact that his presence is looming large in this show, and why he gets to the point when you see him in Rogue One with the breathing apparatus, the leg. So you will probably see him lose a leg now in the next season.
They didn't really explain. Is the gas supposed to is it also hot, or is it just poisonous? Or I didn't understand.
It's a poisonous gas that breathe it in, you burn from the inside, you get blistered, crazy stuff. I don't just talking about
it's like gasoline. You're not supposed to inhale that.
It reminded me almost of the Boba Fett huffing the lizard thing from Boba Fett. Like I didn't get it,
but
that was the part I disliked the most, probably. But everything else was great. Like so like if I had to score it, it's probably going to be. I gave it a point off for me not really following and liking the Saw part too much, and it kind of, I didn't want to say dragging, but kind of being a slow burn to the 1 or 2 episodes. But all in all, like a point off for that, and then also a half point off for leaving my boy B2 Emo behind. Apparently,
they're getting him. They're getting him. He's going to be.
Apparently he's gone. He's not there with Andor Bix, but so I was disappointed in that. But 8.5 probably out of 10.
Yeah. Well, I give it Wizard. The dialogue was fantastic. Again, the stakes were high. I like the part when Luthen was talking to Mom Martha, and she was like, "How's my cousin doing?" And he said something. And she goes, "I care. She's my cousin."
Yeah.
And she was saying because he has no heart, Luthen. He has no heart.
Oh yeah, he sees everybody as chess pieces,
exactly,
and pawns more or less. Yeah.
And that whole intense scene in the gallery, that the stakes are high, man. I'm just, the stakes are high everywhere. You don't like this whole rebellion thing that is building up is really weighing on everybody, and you could see how each piece is affecting each person from Andor to Val. And the stakes are getting higher. And like I said, death is looming to a lot of these characters, and before Rogue One, that Saw Gerrera and Mon Mothma and Andor are the only ones that are in Krennic up until those points. So
I actually know that, but
I'm really enjoying this. Now I wonder how far it's going to jump. I know it's a year, and how much in a year things are going to change in the next three part story arc. But man, my wife came. I was sitting down watching it. She came over and she goes, "You're really enjoying the show?" I'm like, "Yes, I am." I go, "I don't care." Like I said, whatever it's put in the show that I might have had like issues here and there. The writing is what's writing it along and making me enjoy every moment of it. Yeah. I love everything about it, man. And this is way Star Wars should be written. And Tony Gilroy, I'm telling you this, I may not be on the same page as Kathleen Kennedy, but her putting Tony Gilroy on to Rogue One after firing, what's the guy's name that she fired that was doing Rogue One to have Tony Gilroy come on, was one of the biggest things, the biggest, greatest things that she's done.
Mm-hmm.
And
give him a TV series too.
Tony Gilroy knows, he may not be like the biggest Star Wars, but he knows what Star Wars is.
Yeah. Well, to me, so the great thing about Tony Gilroy is he, like you said, he's not a big Star Wars fan. He doesn't know everything about Star Wars. Probably doesn't even know all that much about Star Wars, even to be honest, compared to some people. But he wants to make a good story. Yeah, and I think that is what's important. That's what you see on the screen more than anything else. And that's what works.
Look, Star Wars is about a war. It's about friggin' sacrifices. He knows what those sacrifices are. And that's what makes it such a great, compelling story. And,
well, I think what he did was he went back to the one key, which we kind of gotten away from in Star Wars, is like base it off actual stuff. It always works. We've talked about it before. Like, yeah, of course, he based it off the French Resistance. We saw that. You know what I mean? Like, he's going back and doing the things.
I mean, that was Paris in 1940, like walking through with the cafes and the people outside.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So
even the music.
He's figuring it out. He's making it feel. He's making a planet far, far, or whatever, a whole universe far, far away, feel very right next door-ish. You know what I mean? Like far enough away, maybe not next door-ish, maybe on 3 blocks over, far enough away that it's different than what you see when you look out your window, but not so far away that you won't recognize what's going on.
Yeah, he makes it familiar. It's supposed to be a galaxy far, far away, but familiar with the regular everything that we see in real life.
Credit to people more than just Gilroy too. Like the set designs and the cinematography in this are great. Like the contrast between, like we said, Gorman, where you've almost made it look like, Paris in the mid 1900s, and you got, then you flash to Coruscant, which is like, gritty underlevel of Coruscant, where Andor has to go pick up his spy materials in this junk shop or whatever, and all that stuff's done great. Like,
so I give us a 9.5. 9.5. The whole story arc. Overall, I'm enjoying this, man. This has been a pleasure for me to sit down and watch something that I'm really into, and I'm enjoying every moment of it.
I wouldn't mind if they split it up into 2 days, or if they released them earlier in the day. I guess so maybe you can sneak some in.
I almost wonder. I mean, so they made it so each arc or whatever is 3 episodes.
Yeah,
which makes sense, but at the same time, like I feel like releasing all those at once is not a bad thing. But like I'd almost rather them have like 2 episode drops each time or something.
Yeah, I mean, look, man, I don't watch. I'll tell you this: I stay in the bubble with this stuff, and I don't watch. I don't watch them all together. So I usually watch them over a couple days. And if you can do that, I mean, you're never gonna get that out of like the Doms or probably the Wookiees that want to like they follow people that like do breaking like 8,000 Easter eggs or whatever. So that's probably not possible for those type of people. But if you get rid of those, like don't follow those people, then you can make it where it's a couple days. And I think it's enjoyable that way. I think it's enjoyable where you can take your time and digest some of it. So
yeah.
I like that they give you kind of an option, to do that. So
yeah.
But and the one more thing I'll say I appreciate about like the creative team behind this. I've loved that there's not a lot of like guest spots. Like I know people are upset that Vader wasn't in it in this or something, but like
they don't have to be in it.
How easy you have a party in which Imperial officers are attending it, right? And they're going through art galleries. How easy would it have been to have a certain Imperial officer who is blue show up to this art party and give the speech that Krennic gives and that?
But he can't. Because he's not on world yet. He's off world. He's not there.
I know. You think that's going to stop him in Star Wars? Since when does that stop anybody?
I know, but I'm just saying. But he's already out on friggin'
But that's hold on.
But if this was a Jon Favreau series, that would have been Thrawn.
Okay, here's the deal though. Here's what. Now I forgot what I was going to say because of that shit. All right, whatever.
No,
right.
Sorry.
No, we're good. We're good. No, I mean, they're just doing a good job with it. I think they're doing a good job with it. I think, like, if you can get in and watch it on your own pace, either way, you've got it. And I think they've done a great job coming up. I think the 3-card arc thing really does work for his style. So I'm glad they're not doing 2. I'm glad they're not doing anything else. And I'm glad, I don't know if the year thing has to be maintained or if you can say it's kind of around this time. It doesn't have to be exact. but they'll give you all this stuff. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. The thing, JJ, that you have to understand, and I think we understand this dealing with Dom a lot too. And it's not a diss on Dom, but like when they want something to happen, so they can say, "Oh, I predicted that. I'm right," even if it's their not original idea, but they just have said it loud and loud over and over again, and then it doesn't happen. They do get a little bit. I mean, there is a part of the fandom that's what it's about, right? So, like, I can understand that, but like at the same point, I think even hearing out of Dom, like, I don't think if emo bebop doesn't become K2SO, I don't think Dom's going to be upset with this one because the writing and the stuff's so good, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's not, because there's stuff he said already that didn't happen and he hasn't been hooked on it. That, like, usually what they do is they try to go like, well, they name dropped them or they did this and they try to get around it. But like, I think when you can do this where you're dropping so much content very shortly, and maybe Dom can speak to it, but like that, I care about saying that I said this even though it didn't happen. It's gone because the writing's so well, right? I mean, and that's kind of just where it goes.
Yeah, exactly. When it, like you said, with the writing so well, when the content is good, it makes you forget about that, right? In a way, because when it's bad or it doesn't go the way you want or whatever, then you're gonna be like, well, they should have done it the way I said because it would have been better. But here it's so good that you don't really care. You don't say to yourself, it would have been better if Thrawn showed up there. No,
I mean,
it worked great with Krennic in that spot. So
there were some parts they could have improved, I guess. All right. Yeah. What else, Dom? Dom, you get the last word. Go ahead.
I was gonna say if what I said doesn't happen, I see it in my mind about the fact that how much more of a heartbreak it would be that Andor got the module out of his old robot and put it in K2 to become his best buddy. That's why he's sarcastic towards Andor, because B2 is a sarcastic robot too. Also, there's a press robot. But the whole fact is that it sounds like a great idea. But if it doesn't happen, I'm not going to be like, oh my god, this.
Which is like different than normal. So like I think it's good.
All right, I can't wait for Tuesday.
Should we get details or do we do the 50 slides of Dom?
We could do. You want to do parts? Let's do parts of toys and then do tails and then go.
Right, sure. Oh, I kind of did something different for you too. Anyways, I moved something that you had. All right, go ahead, Dom.
All right, so look, we're getting tales of
those fucking glow
pops that are coming out, which they're doing, which is pretty cool. You got the Baron Alpha, you got the another Thrawn, you got with Ellen Ellsworth, what's the name? And then you have the fifth sister.
Ellsworth, you got
and the fifth sister, right? Yeah. And I'm happy they're dropping season 2 of Andor pops off the bat, which they waited a long time to drop the first season. So you have a couple of pops. You got a chase of Andor, and you got Sora, you got the Dedra, you got the
Austin. Looks a lot younger and less scary on his pop version.
Yeah, I know, right? He does. But look at the eye. You got the eye thing, and K2. So it's pretty cool. They're coming pretty soon. Then you got the 2 other ones. You got a Mace Windu with the cut off hand at the end of Revenge of the Sith when Anakin cuts his hand off. And then you got the Imperial Range Trooper that got blown away with the TIE Fighter Advance in the first one, which those are cool troopers, man. I like those troopers.
I think got melted.
And then you got little bits and pieces, some bitty ones that are coming out, new stuff that they're dropping, coming out very soon. The May 4th had a lot of stuff that they revealed. So here's the Poe Dameron hot toy that's dropping. Pretty cool and pretty on point of Poe Dameron. It's amazing. The sculpt, the face.
So what's in his hand? Is that a gun, a blaster?
That's his gloves. He's got gloves and a hat.
Okay. I got you.
Okay. We have Clone Commander Boss coming up. It's pretty cool. We have Dark Nihilus. They're making a hot toy. They're capitalizing off all the Sith. They have Revan. You had Star Killer. Now you have Dark Nihilus coming up. A new Jango Fett. That they're a new one. Which the poncho? I don't have that one. I have the regular one. That's the one I have. This is new. Jar Jar Binks is getting a hot toy. So hold on to your cash. Elite Squad Trooper, pretty badass. This is coming out.
Oops, sorry, hit you.
That's right. So the last time I showed the Stormtrooper that for the Rebels line that come in 1/6 scale, that coming out with there's the Rebel Vader that's coming out from with Hano Toys. So Star Wars Scum and Villainy collection is coming out. So they're coming out with all these figures, $1,500 for the lot of figures.
Who is this? Scum and Villainy doing this or somebody else?
No, this is Sideshow. Sideshow, the sister to Hot Toys.
Dogface, all right.
We got some Legos that are dropping. You got the drop ship from Ahsoka with the Night Troopers. You got a Lego Advent calendar, 263 pieces. Not bad, $45, 17 characters. Boba Frick, September 1st.
They're dropping in September?
Yeah.
This actually really shitty.
Really?
Yeah. What are you getting here? You're getting C-3PO for the 15th time and a Jawa. Those are actually the C-3PO, R2-D2. That's actually the only figs you're getting. They're considering those droids figs.
Figures, yeah. Yeah.
That's kind of shitty.
Yeah. Oh, we're getting this trooper, the droid, battle droid on the ship.
Yeah, this is a lot like those texts that they used to do. This is really cool. I like that they're going back to this.
So $130 retail exclusives. It was a retail.
Oh wait, what? 130? No, I don't.
$130.
I don't like them anymore.
All right, so Hasbro yesterday dropped. Well, the other day they had for the May the 4th weekend that they dropped some things dropping. So this was a Hasbro Pulse exclusive vintage collection. So they were redoing the old Sears Cantina with Blue Snaggletooth, Hammerhead, Walrus Man, and Guido. And I really wanted this. And this shit sold out in a heartbeat. $64. Sold out in a heartbeat because I had the old Cantina and I wanted this.
It comes with the figures too for $64.
All those figures. And they were sculpting. So you get the Blue Snaggletooth. That was the mistake in the Sears catalog that came out, the highly sought after vintage figure. And I missed out on this. I'm like, damn. But it is what it is. Can't have everything.
Fair enough.
So I just got it. It shows you the figures up close. Yeah. I like the Hammerhead, and these are the cards that they come on, which really really cool. The Hammerhead is my favorite because that was my favorite Cantina alien.
All right. Yeah.
So they dropped a special pack of Stormtroopers of the Empire.
You got the George Troopers. Yep.
You know, a new Obi-Wan, reconstructed Obi-Wan, new Stormtrooper. Now we got some Black Series. So this is star from Revenge of the Sith, clone Lieutenant Galley.
All right.
They have Krennic from Andor.
They already did that, but that's okay.
You have a new Star Wars New Hope Sandtrooper that's dropping. Mm-hmm. And then you have a 2-pack, a Shore Trooper and a Death Trooper that's dropping as well, too. A lot of this stuff sold out on Hasbro Pulse. So if you try to get Hasbro Pulse, they're coming out with a Magna Guard, Revenge of the Sith, and Sekira, what's her name? Alara? What's her name?
Alara. Yeah.
Sekira? Yeah. So also you got the this little mini vehicles that are coming out. They have this new one coming out, the Geonosian Starfighter.
Okay, the Starfighter's all right. I don't know why we're getting a little Geonosian, but that's okay.
So now Disney dropped everything. So Star Tours, they have for $300. They had the space shuttle, the vintage figures that are coming out. It came with R2-D2 and C-3PO.
Yeah,
and I think this sold out. It was the Star Tours shuttle. So they have this in the Disney store. So these are all Disney stores that are trying. They have the the Jedi training kit that's coming out. They have a talking Yoda. They have an R2-2 backpack. They have the 45th anniversary of The Empire Strikes Back. Some hats, some ears, some charms. They have a 11-inch Wampus plush that the arm comes off. They got some new hats. New hats that are dropping. They have a limited edition Yoda figure, a cake-worthy jacket. The jacket looks pretty cool.
I don't know what cake-worthy is.
Jacket. They have the denim jacket. They have the Temple Guard mask. And then they got the toy that Thrawn from Mahara. And you have some earrings, BB-8 earrings. So these dolls are by Ashton Drake. They're like porcelain dolls. So they have Luke, they have Leia. These are like $200 each. They have Padme, Han Solo. They have Grogu, and they have Rey. So they have the lightsaber, Ezra Bridger lightsaber from the Black Series that's dropping. That's the hilt. And then we had these limited edition sneakers that Bulls, they did, the sneakers actually sell for a lot of money. So they sell out and they go up there a lot online. So they have all these sneakers, and I'll go through the sneakers really quick. So you have a Maul, you have a Stormtrooper. You have, I can't think who this was.
Isn't that Knight of Ren or something?
It's Chewbacca. Yeah, that's Chewbacca. This is Vader.
Okay, Chewbacca. That's Chewbacca. Okay.
You have this is like Hoth. It's a like one of the Rebel soldiers. You have Andor.
Yep.
R2D2 and 3PO. The R2D2, the C3POs look pretty good.
They're good. They're good.
Pretty good. Then you have the
Chopper.
Starfighter pilot, and then I'm not sure what this is. This is Sand.
That's the Sandcrawler.
It's Sandcrawler. It's the Jawas.
Well, yeah, this is Jawas are Sandcrawler.
And then you have.
Oh, what the shit that is? Got no clue what that is, bro.
I forgot you.
That's all right. I don't get a clue either one. We're good.
And then there's Boba Fett at the end right there. Boba Fett's
of course.
Hey, save the best for last.
Hey, Sarah.
And then you have some jackets. I like the Tron jacket.
The Maul jacket.
You know,
all right. No, yeah, the last thing we got. Do you want to just do it because we're here? It's your cards.
Card.
Let's do the cards real quick.
Okay, they're there.
So this just sold 3/1 for $30,185. We had Carrie Fisher, Mark Hamill, and Harrison Ford's autograph, but it was graded at 10, so that's why. And then in 2023, this sold for $24,600. It was a Super Fractor 101 of a 9.
Yep.
And then you had from the Wonder Bread 13,500. This was sold in 2021, but this was a Gem in 10. Couldn't find those bread crumbs in the Gem in 10. And then a Gem Carrie Fisher sold for $10,980 in 2024.
Yeah.
And then the big baddie was Luke. Gem Mint, Luke's rookie card for $78,000.
Dang.
Crazy.
We're paid for that.
Hey, whoever had that, may the force be with you.
All right. Okay, finally, we're going to try not to spoil any of this, but I can't.
I won't. I promise I won't.
I was so anti-spoiler, I even cut images. I went back and cut images that were just promo images from the trailer. So I didn't even cut images from the actual
I'll try my best, but I know is going to go. So here we go.
Tales of the Underworld.
Tales of the Underworld. I'll start it off, I guess. So we had 3 episodes of 3 episodes, 3 on Ventress, 3 on Cad. As you know, it starts off with these where you get like an intro of them, and then it skips forward a bunch of years. They don't tell you exactly how many, and then it skips forward to the end. So you get a beginning, middle, and end.
Yep.
They actually didn't start Ventress off as a kid. Instead, they started her off with a Voss scene that we know. Very familiar scene. Huh? Spoilers already. Well, I mean, whatever. What else can we say? I mean,
well, listen. Well, you could say that the book it takes place.
You say it starts off with the resurrection.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
Well, we already know she gets resurrected.
Well, she gets resurrected. It begins after the book Dark Disciple.
I just said it becomes a very famous scene that we know of. That's all I said. Okay. All right. So yeah, it goes into that, and then you get they introduce a new kid.
I didn't like the kid.
JJ, go ahead. I don't know how to not spoil this, so go ahead.
So we get introduced to a young kid. As you can see from the trailer, he wields a lightsaber. They become fast friends. Basically, she is essentially, to not ruin too much stuff, there to live out her life. She thinks she's in a peaceful place.
Yeah.
And she wants to live out her life there and not have any trouble.
At a transit place.
The kid comes along, and the kid is the trouble that interrupts her otherwise peaceful life. We see her.
It does introduce people to a Ventress that maybe if you didn't read the novels, then you see a new face of Ventress that you haven't seen before. Let me say that.
Yeah. So this is Ventress. To just define the time period of Ventress's life. So we saw Ventress obviously in the Clone Wars, where she was, Dooku's assassin for years and years. Then you saw her basically after that, after Dooku betrayed her, killed the Night Sisters. We knew all this too, right? You saw her through Dark Disciple, where she, teams up with Voss, kind of.
Which was a bounty hunter in the Clone Wars. She wound up being a bounty hunter in the Clone Wars a little bit.
She's been a bounty hunter before, and then now you have this chapter in her life, which is between what we saw her in the Bad Batch.
So it was actually before. I don't know how many years before, but it was.
Yeah, this is. I'll put it this way. This probably won't spoil anything. There's not a real clear time period into where this falls. At least they don't exactly tell you. But the time period
they don't do it. Can't think either.
We know it's after the Dark Disciple events and before.
Because guess what? Because Dave Filoni can figure back and flip the switch on this. That's why he doesn't give things. Gives any time dates because
he doesn't care about timelines. We've learned that already. He does not care.
You don't.
Yeah. But we're going to get several other characters. If you watch the trailer, there's an Inquisitor that shows up. We get some friends that they meet along the way. That, and then in the last episode, we also get treated to an arc. And I won't ruin it by telling you what their ultimate quest is.
Well, that dude right there underneath the Inquisitor, that's the Cad Bane story.
Yeah, I clicked the wrong dude. He looked a lot like the old dude from this, but
the old dude, the other guy,
So there's an old dude they run into in part 3. We'll put it that way.
In the wheelchair.
This is what I'll tell you about this Ventress portion. It was very concise, not like the Cad Bane thing. You knew what was happening, and I don't know. I don't know what else you wanted out of it. It gave you clarification on a couple things, kind of, and did what it was supposed to do. And I don't want to ruin anything, so that's all I'm going to say.
I'm intrigued. You know who I'm intrigued about? I'm intrigued about the Inquisitor. I'm intrigued about him. I wonder what Inquisitor that is.
Not at all intrigued by it all.
I wish I could spoil it because I don't want to
spoil it. He's the least.
I did not like the kid. I
like the kid. So the kid's like,
no, what are you? My wife went, oh, you didn't like the kid. I'm like, I didn't like the kid.
The one negative I have for this story is, and again, I don't think this spoils anything to say. It's a story. At least the characters and stories are characters and stories we've kind of seen before a lot in Star Wars. As far as the kid's kind of plucky and that type of thing. And
if you didn't have the kid, the story doesn't move anywhere. It's a shitty story without the kid.
Yeah, I know.
That's what I'm saying. It's not that I don't like the kid. I'm just saying it's a very repetitive, I guess, trope or whatever we've seen in Star Wars.
The annoying kid becomes a thing. Like always, you have an annoying kid.
Yeah. So, it's not a wholly original story, but it also explains everything very well. I like that, before this was even existed, I said a while ago what I wanted to see without retconning anything. And although they don't really it fits in well. There's not like a lot of like overcorrection.
Well, I'm surprised.
Pulling other stuff or this or that. So
I'm very surprised at how Dave decided to do it, because not doing what he did with the Ahsoka book.
Mm-hmm.
How he gave it praises and then he just took it all out and changed it, and the Siege of Mandalore and all that stuff like that, and changed everything. So
yeah, I'll say this: I don't know if I necessarily call it exactly a must see, but if you're a Ventress fan, or if you want to figure out how on earth Ventress went from Ventress in Clone Wars to Ventress that was in Bad Batch, you do have to see this.
Exactly. So definitely,
I'll say for that much, it was a must see.
Well, the animation's good too. The animation is Clone Wars style. It's Bad Batch style animation, this and that. So, look, it fills in gaps that you need to know. And it moves the story forward. So, other than that,
little bit off topic, but let me ask you this, Dom. Would you rather see something in a little different animation, though, or are you happy with the same Bad Batch, Clone Wars, Rebels, and type of animation we've got for so long?
Look, they tried the new animation with the Resistance, and I wasn't too crazy about that 2D stuff. If they're gonna do it, I'll take this, unless you're gonna really get good cartoonish and just do a straight out cartoon. But I'm okay with this. I'm okay with the this type of animation. I'm okay that it's a little bit. It's a little bit different compared to the Clone Wars animation.
Yeah, you know? I mean, there's definitely it's a little bit sharper than what you saw. Of course, granted, it's 15 years later. Hopefully, it is a little bit better as far as sharpness. But it's definitely sharper than what you saw in Clone Wars and Rebels. Because it's more akin to Bad Batch as far as
because basically we're going to see something different with the with Darth Maul, with the Shadow Lord. They said the animation's a little different compared to Bad Batch. So. They're moving on, but it went. The Asajj Ventress story was good, and like I said, if you're a fan of Asajj Ventress, definitely the story you got to see it because you want to know what happened. You saw her in Bad Batch, so you want to see how she got to that point. And I just hate the fact that these tales are so short. Like you're getting into it, and all of a sudden it goes off, and like the next episode comes on. Like, damn.
No, I actually like that. I like that, and I kind of think we can just. I just think maybe we get 2 a year instead of 1, right? Like I think this is great. Yeah. Like I think this is because it's not enough for
one long episode.
How about 1 a quarter?
3, but the way it plays out is basically 1 long episode.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of how I watched it. I watched it as in the Ventress story, and then I watched the Cad Bane. I like this. Like I said, it filled in a lot of holes, or at least gave you like. Excuse me, man. I'm all over the place. I'm sorry. I'm still, dude. I'm half falling asleep sometimes. Brain drain. No, yeah. I swear to God, like I still haven't gotten on track yet.
Hey, Marco, let me ask you a question. Did you think that that Dave Filoni did a good job without really retconning a lot of stuff from the book?
I mean, I think at this point that's what I'm saying. Like when you're like, oh, I want more. I don't want more because when you give Dave more, he screws up more. So like. I'm okay with kind of how this went. I will say Sticks is spoiling the review on the Cad Bane story, which we can go over in a little bit.
He's giving his opinion, but yeah.
I guess. But I mean, this was definitely out of the two. This was a lot better. Even the kids, I let the kids watch it. Kind of questionable, but still fine. They definitely loved the Ventress story. They did ask questions like, how come she's not bald anymore and stuff like that, but
her hair out.
They liked it.
Hey, look, let me tell you something. Okay, aside, me personally, the Ventress story was good, but I like the Cad Bane story. I like that. The only I do have a disappointment with it because something I said that I wish would have happened, but it didn't go that far. But it actually gave depth to the character. I can really say.
See, there you go. There you go. See, JJ, we talked about this. They get mad when they're disappointed when the things they want. But here, I don't know. I just thought this.
I'll let you guys take it because I actually haven't watched the Cad Bane arc yet. So
I will just. Can I just go over that real quickly? I just thought the Ventress was cleaner. I thought it was very clean.
Are you ranking it as must see?
Yes, absolutely must see. Okay. Absolutely must see.
I'll let you guys take the Cad Bane story here.
I actually had to. The Cad Bane story is a bit confusing in the first storyline. Or first episode. The problem I had with the Cad Bane thing, and I think it was because my kids said this, after, like, at the beginning of episode 3, they were saying what was going to happen. I mean, literally 30 seconds in. They were saying the ending of what was going to happen in episode 3. And I said,
they foreshadowed too much.
Yeah. And I said, well, also, guys, like, this is taking an arc from every spaghetti Western we've ever seen before.
Yep.
And unfortunately, every time we see Cad Bane now,
we have to have a showdown and a shootout.
Not just that. It's generic spaghetti Western. Just generic spaghetti Western. Like, there's nothing original coming out here. I actually was disappointed because as you get depth of character with the Ventress storyline, There's zero fucking depth to Cad Bane. There's zero explanation why Cad. There's bullshit. There's a lot of like facade and fake innuendos, but there's not a lot of in-depth like character / burning points, turning points. The lamest.
I'm just curious. Even though it covers much of his history, you don't think it actually did much for his character?
Oh, horrible! No, absolutely didn't.
Okay.
No, because they use the spaghetti tropes. Each episode started with a Western trope in it.
Yeah.
It didn't matter if it fit or not. That's I'm trying.
Almost
really
like it was forced.
Yeah, it almost did. It almost went like, okay, well here it is. Here's what we're gonna do, and we're gonna go 1, 2, 3. And you're going to get 4 by it's going to equal 4 by the end, right? Or go in a row, or you know what I mean? We're just going to go 1 + 1 + 1 + 1. There it is. Now you know it's 4. Well, we already knew 1 + 1 + 1 + 1 = 4 anyways. You're not telling us anything new. And to be honest, even when he shows up in his time jumps, it's not significant. Like, I don't know, Dom, did you feel any like I question more. I question how the end played out. Like, really, why? I mean,
but I'm going to tell you this. You know, I can see where Filoni was going with this. How he wanted this.
Westerns.
This arc. He wanted to play this arc safe. He wanted to make it easy that new viewers can actually see that character. Why is this character so special? You know. Like
but they didn't make him special. They made him generic.
I know they didn't, but we did find out why, how he became Cad Bane. But other than that, you're right. There are some things in the story that could have been left alone.
Well, I think this is what sucks, Dom. The Cad Bane that we see in Clone Wars is not this Cad Bane we see here.
No, not yet.
Really?
No.
Not
this
yet.
is
So
not.
You don't think it covered like. I'll say this. I don't think it spoiled anything to say it covers Cad Bane's history. So you don't think it actually you don't think it gave you a good impression of why his character is the way it is in Clone Wars?
No, I think all this was the lead up was to explain why he had a fucking showdown in a
I actually really think that there is something in this that makes him who he is. And yeah, and it's not the part that the showdown with his friend and all that stuff like that. There is something in this that definitely makes him on who he is. That's why he becomes the best bounty hunter in the galaxy, and he has a special skill for a special something that he does. So, look, like I said, was it the greatest? No. Did it have some good points to it? Yeah.
There you go, Zaggy. Yeah, like he's supposed to be this. I'll kidnap babies, give 0 Fs.
Everybody, Boba Fett started. Everybody.
No. Worse than Boba Fett. He is supposed to be this guy who's like a smart tacticianer. He gives zeros, non-emotional, no attachment. No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
No, he didn't.
Look at the end. Look, this is prior to the Darth Maul comic when he went with Darth Maul.
Even better than Boba Fett.
Yeah, there's no explanation. Right, Styx hits it on the dot. Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. Like, there's no explanation except for that his boss died. Right, absolutely.
Saying,
there's no explanation about the showdown except for something that it's like stupid.
Remember,
it doesn't, because they just in the beginning they said there's going to be a showdown, so we're going to have a showdown. Does not matter.
No, but there is a difference. It's two sides of the spectrum. He went his way. His friend went the other way.
It wasn't, though, two sides of the spectrum.
Yes, it was. It was two different spectrums.
Okay. No. Hold on. I get that, Dom. You're right, but you're missing what I'm saying. There's no reason why the one guy should have gone right and the one guy should have gone left.
I know.
Marco's saying it doesn't. Marco's saying it doesn't tell you why they end up on each side of the spectrum.
Yeah, like it doesn't matter.
Yeah. All right, look. Maybe down the road this will be retconned. Something, but who knows? I'm just saying right now, this is his back his backstory before he became the ruthless guy.
I'll be honest with you. Yeah, Jaggy, don't spoil it. Yeah, exactly. There's no stakes. There's no reason why he did shit he should have done. I will tell you this. There was one option. There was somebody here who they could have transitioned into Cad Bane, and it would have made sense. It would have made sense. But they didn't do it. And I'm just going to give it to the people that watched it. The person is in at least two of these pictures. At least two of these pictures.
Well, yeah, exactly. But I'm
if they went that route and said because of this trauma, because of this, he became this heartless guy and baby kidnapper and everything else, cool. And then you could that would have to be scene 1, not episode 3.
Question now, because of the ramifications and the stuff in this show, the Cad Bane definitely it'd be interesting for a future endeavors of Cad Bane now, because you already know him at a certain point that we see in the timeline.
Yeah, but I don't understand how he gets to that point.
But he does.
We understand what Ventress is after the Ventress thing and how she is still alive.
Yeah,
we get that. They gave that to us. We do not understand why Cad Bane is Cad Bane in Clone Wars.
Well, we're going to find. I know this.
Yeah, you say we're going to find out, but it's over. But
I know. But there's probably more. There will be more stories. Maybe there'll be a book. Maybe there'll be something coming out.
You don't know there'll be more stories. You didn't even know this story was coming.
I know. More. Listen, sometimes I'll tell you this. Some stories should be left alone. Some stories should be where they don't even talk about the character. Don't even
this is bad, Dave. This is bad, Dave. Yeah, you're right, Dom. I agree. This is bad. This is stuff that they shouldn't have touched. It's bad, Dave. I mean, honestly, JJ, you're gonna watch it. You're gonna be like, "Fuck." You're like, lame. Like you'll be way worse than me on this one.
You know what? But okay, so I do like this. I do like it. Yes, there's questionable things in it, but I do like it because I like that underworld shit, man. The underworld. I love that.
That wasn't underworld though.
I know it wasn't. It wasn't. It was Western.
There wasn't anything underworld about this. It was
like Andor had more underworld in it this week.
Yeah, true. Yeah, yeah. But you know what? Like I said, it was something. Maybe we'll see what happens down the road. I don't know. You know what, Marco? You're right. You're right. You're right on a lot of aspects of this.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say it's must see or skip it. I mean, everybody, the chat's saying skip it.
Somewhere in between.
If you like Cad Bane, I would watch it. If you like the character Cad Bane,
I'm saying like it's not. I'm telling you this. I'm never watching the Cad Bane story again. All right, I saw it once.
Maybe I need to watch it once and forget about it.
Yeah, not forget about it, but okay, I saw it. Ventress, I'll go back. Maybe Ventress, I already did go back and watch one thing on there. But like Ventress, I'm like, okay, that's entertaining. I enjoy everything they did. I enjoy that they gave it to the comic. Yeah, everybody's skipping it. I mean, like, I don't know. Yeah.
Wookie even agreed with you too. So
yeah, I mean, here's the deal is like, I think when you see Ventress, you're kind of like, maybe that's the problem too. The story was done very well. And it's a very big contrast. This was, I can't say it again. It was cookie cutter, like nonsense. Like we got to see both days. I
said that Ventress's story was a little bit of a trope. Would you say this is even more of a trope, probably than?
Oh, dude! It like I swear to God, yes. Like it is, but it's generic. They made a great character generic.
Wow.
Just generic. So
Marco's somewhere in between.
Dude, here this is the one that gives you the most. Here you go. Mr. Positivity on every single thing.
Who? Oh.
Not a must.
He said he enjoyed it.
Yeah, of course he said he enjoyed it, but he goes not a must, which is
he's
not
in the middle too.
He's in the middle. He's in the middle. Typically, he's not in the middle. So, like,
what do you think, Dom? Will you say this is a must or?
I don't know. I'm going to say that it's not a must, but it was. It was a little bit entertaining. It wasn't a must. If you're gonna skip it, if you want to skip it, you skip it. But I thought it had its parts to it that I thought. And yes, it makes you think about the character a lot different now when you see this. But you know what? It is what it is. And like I said, it's not a must. Yes, the Ventress was a little bit more intriguing. But let me ask you a question now. On this episode, on this 6-part episode of Star Wars Tales, how do you put this up against the first Tales, the second Tales?
That's the question. That was a good question, Dom. So if you measured against Tales of the Jedi and Tales of the Empire, where would you measure it on that scale?
I'll tell you, it's the same as always. He fucks something up in all of them. Like he gives you one story that's good and one story that you're just like, it's not terrible, but like, why, right? Like, why is Ahsoka Tano being carried by a saber-tooth tiger, right? You know what I mean? And there's certain that's kind of cad, like, okay, but why? You know what I mean? Where then you got to see, I mean, the Death of Yoda, the Darth
Yaddle.
Yeah, the Death of Yaddle was pretty damn good. And then you had, what was the other one wasn't in it?
Because
the Jedi was Qui-Gon and
Qui-Gon. It was also
Dooku.
It was also
Dooku, which I thought was good. Yeah, the Dooku Qui-Gon thing, which I thought was good. Yeah, so like,
and
I don't know.
Was Morgan Elsbeth and
Morgan Elsbeth and Thrawn.
Yeah, I mean,
Thrawn was in there too, but
Paris, Sophie, and the fifth sister.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it lines up with those. I guess maybe. I don't know.
I didn't really like either one of those that much. I enjoyed Barris' story a little bit more than Morgan's. Like Morgan's to me had like no stake. Like I didn't care why she was like. I didn't care about the character at all, even going into it. I didn't care.
But let me ask you something. How does this tie? How does this
but we got a payoff out of the Barry Offee one. So like one, like so I'm saying,
sort of
one story.
I didn't like that one that much, but yeah.
How does what? I'm sorry. How does what?
I'm saying how's the second season of it compared with the third season? If you were to rate those,
I'll be honest. The Aja Ventress story was so strong. It was very strong.
Yeah,
it's probably I would say that the Aja Ventress story is probably the best out of all the tales.
I've only seen half of it, and I already think that this was better than Tales of the Empire. Both of them. So I've only seen half of this one, and I think it's better.
The only thing is, like, the Ventress story is so strong on this one that I think it overwhelms all the other ones.
I actually like the Thrawn story, and I like the Night Sisters.
It's not Thrawn's story. He just gives her a speech.
I know, but he's there. But I like Grievous killing. Grievous was there. I like that. You know, that was pretty good, man. You know, I think that story was better than the Cad Bane story.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, obviously.
You know, if you really think about it, but you didn't watch the Cad Bane story yet. But I did enjoy the Cad Bane story. I enjoyed the first Tales. I think the first Tales overshadowed the other two. Yeah, the Asajj Ventress story was very strong.
Sticks brings up an interesting question that he thought he thought Empire was best, and then Jedi, and then this. Is this an indication? Do you think are they getting weaker?
No,
and maybe
I think
maybe
Sticks
this
is
anthology.
wrong.
Wait, let me finish. Do you think maybe this anthology idea maybe not run its course yet, but will run its course soon? Like,
no.
How long can they keep doing this type of thing?
No, I think Sticks is wrong, for one, and two, I actually think that seeing if the Ventress story didn't hit here, I'd agree with you, but also they made. What did Zaggy say about it? Softer side of Cad, right? They made him soft, but they didn't ruin him. They didn't actually ruin him, right?
Obi.
They've done a bunch of stuff where they've made it like worse, but because it's so short, I don't think they've killed him. And their high points, like I said, I think the Ventress thing was very high. So no.
Okay.
In my opinion, no. Look, I want more of them, even if we gotta have this happen here. So,
you know, I actually think this opens up the doors for other stories of the side characters that we've seen down the road. Because you know they love their side characters. Like, to go back to Andor real quick. Remember when Andor was talking to the leader of the front in Gorman, and he was talking about the pilot, the freaking rebel pilot that crashed. Yeah. That could be a great story down the road.
That's pretty minimal.
I'm just saying little things like that, really little like threats. But look, I'm gonna be honest with you. Look, this is what we get with the cartoons. Cartoons are hit or miss. Was they violent? Yeah, they had some violent tones to them. It wasn't like it was all like stopping the person and this and that and not doing anything. People got killed. Stakes were held in these things. So I really think that I don't think they're getting weaker. I think that some stories should be left alone to a certain aspect. And look, if people think that this made Cad Bane weaker to a point where when you watch him now, you're like, this sucks. I think that this just gives him more depth as a character. Like with Boba Fett, when they did Boba Fett in comic books, they gave him more of a personality, this and that. Boba Fett was great when he was mysterious, but then they added layers to him to give him more of a personality. Sometimes the personality works, sometimes the personality doesn't. Just the mystery of the person that is there is the best thing of all. Cad Bane, did we need an origin story? No, we did not need an origin story. Yes, Stick said something that was very important in the chat about a certain situation. I think that situation would have been a much better situation than they played out in the episode. But this is what we're gonna get. You know, it's to serve to put more stories out there. I actually think that the Star Wars Tales is a great idea. I think they should continue. There's so many characters they can do. You could do people in the
people. There's a lot of characters they can do, but should they do it? Like if you're screwing up a character like Cad Bane, like
it's not that they screwed.
That's what I'm saying. They didn't screw him up. They didn't screw him up. They just
gave him.
This was a waste of time.
Yeah. Look, now if they do Tales of the Sith, and they take two Sith characters that they like, say if they do a Balin Skull and a friggin' Darth Bane. People get pissed off if Darth Bane's story turns out like shit because Darth Bane is one of their favorite characters, or Darth Revan, depending on what they're gonna do. But this opens the door to a lot of other things. And now Dave is gonna have to sit back and realize what did he do to his character?
I can tell you your opinion's wrong, Sticks.
What?
Your opinion can be wrong.
No, well,
it can be wrong.
But he did say something that was interesting in the chat. If you've seen the thing,
no, I saw it.
Look, for what we got, 5 minutes. How long is the episode? Like 8 minutes, 5 minutes.
They were about, if you don't include with credits, they were about 16 minutes apiece. If you take the credits out, they're about 12 minutes.
Yeah. You know, for what he's done, he gave a backstory, so now you know what a certain Cad Bane's life is. And yes, and Marco, you are right. We don't know why he's the ruthless character because this didn't show anything. It just showed one aspect of his of him, who he was, and how he became that ruthless character.
Yeah, for sure.
But you know, like I said, because of novels and books and comics and stories, who knows what the future is going to bring down the road. But I think now after this, Cad Bane should be put aside for a long time. And move forward to something else.
Fair. That's fair. So Marco was in between. He didn't necessarily skip it, but he definitely said it. Definitely didn't have to see it. And Dom led more must see, but not really. So neither one scored great.
So half of that. All right. Well, that's cool. Good. I am sorry, guys. I'm going to call the show. Great show, I guess, tonight. Thank you for everybody in the chat. Make sure you give a thumbs up. Tell us below what you guys thought about the 2 episodes. We appreciate that. Also, too, Free Comic Book Day. Tell us what you thought about that comic, and tell us what your favorite Star Wars comic was for 3 comic book.
And let us know what you got for Star Wars Day. If you bought anything.
Yeah, if you got anything underneath, let us know too. Down, we'll be checking in the chat. So there you go. All right. Well, thank you. Make sure you check out all the great other shows here on Redivision. Hopefully next week I'll be caught up on whatever my hourly sleeping, because this is wild. It's just wild. I just randomly fall asleep during stuff now. Talk to you guys later. Guys, thank you very much. And maybe we'll see if we can get Wayseeker back on here. I bet he's going to want to do a book report, though. So if he does, we're just going to kick him right off after that.
That's it.
All right, guys. Take it easy. May the 4th be with you.